Reach and triumph. I'm destined for greatness because I imagine that. My skin light, but baby, I am blacker than black. I got a mean code switch voice for work type black. I'm so black that my pale teacher called me a nigga in the middle of class. And I just sat back and laughed because that word don't make me boo. It makes you miserable. Don't gotta go to the circus to know it's clowns in there. Honeybee, you deserve all you desire. So fly away, black butterfly, to what you admire. Only you can hinder you from truly reaching triumph. I'm destined for greatness because I imagine that. My skin light, but baby, I am blacker than black. I got a mean code switch voice for work type black. I'm so black that my pale teacher called me a nigga in the middle of class. And I just sat back and laughed because that word don't make me boo. It makes you miserable. Don't gotta go to the circus to know it's clowns in there.
Oh, we grand rising.
Rich Rice.
Happy Wednesday, everybody.
We in here.
Lady still said, finally, girl, you telling us.
I swear to God.
You telling us. There's a whole bunch going on. What's up, hubby? DeCon Smith is in the building. Oh, wait. Trace. Hi, lovey. Hey. So, y'all, there's still, once again, a lot going on. But we're gonna run it like we've been doing it. We are gonna step a little bit out of the chronological order, just because that's just how we're gonna have to do it for a quick second. Did you hear his call from jail? Lady Still, we're about to play it right now, ma'am. We are about to play it right now. So y'all get comfortable. I don't know how long this is. This was 22 minutes ago. This is Eligio Bishop calling from jail. Why is this man calling from jail during his active trial? I have no idea. What are we going to do? We're not the jury. We're not the judge. We're not the victim. We didn't put you there, nigga. You put yourself there. But okay. Let's listen to what Bishop said, and y'all can see here on this thing. Hold on, Kitty. Move. She all up in front of my computer. Watch out, y'all. Y'all can see the people in the chat are already God worried about COVID now. People are already in the chat. Okay, well, let's listen to what Three God had to say real quick, y'all.
So yeah, like I said, y'all, I'm not gonna be the person that they do on. I'm not gonna be the Bill Cosby. I'm not gonna be the R. Kelly. I'm gonna let people know my side of the story so you know the truth. You're not gonna shut me up. I'm not gonna be what's this guy that went to jail? Megan Thee Stallion. I'm not about to be that some people. I'm not. You're not about to shut me up and let no one know what's really going on. These guys falsely arrested me for rape, put me in here and investigated the whole thing to put some charges on me that wasn't true in the first place. Now because I won't take they offered me 10 years. You know what I'm saying? And I would have to only do 2 in prison. Then they said that I would not. I said I'm not about to sign up as no sex offender. They said, okay, we'll make it so you don't have to sign up for a sex offender. That's how desperate they was for me not to go through with this trial. And then the next thing they're desperate about is hiding that interview. Because if you listen to the interview, she never gives the police any, because the police are coaxing her into a rape. They had in their mind sexual assault. But it was like, we know you had sex, but did you ever say no? You don't have to say that to a rape victim. A rape victim's going to come to you and say, he raped me. She came to you for revenge porn. Then she told you we made love 4 times. She told the story 4 times. We're going to go to my YouTube page, Nature Boy TV, and go listen to the interview with the police. Listen to the interview. She tells the story clear out. This is what they won't play in court. They played my interview, but they won't play her interview. Why? Because it exonerates me completely. And it shows that I was never supposed to be arrested in the first place for that. They charged me with a false charge. It's a malicious prosecution. They never had any intention to do anything good because what's her name? Mrs. Coleman, the T, went to detectives. The T went to the detectives, sent them all these videos and stuff like they do that in every place else I've been. They were supposed to do a proper investigation. Had they did that, they would have realized, oh, this man ain't do nothing. But they said, we're going to get him on something. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this parade up of a cult leader. We're going to see a real judge. The judge is against me too. That's why they're using this judge. Because if I had Asha Jackson, who is the chief judge, who told her to go home yesterday, I don't know if y'all see the video clip of when I told her I'm not comfortable being in here right now. And she's like, oh, you have no other choice. We're gonna move forward with this with or without you. I'm like, how do you move forward in the trial without me? My lawyer's giving me ill advice because he's telling me to come in here, during COVID. I mean, when you having COVID, he's putting my life in danger. So that's not good advice from my lawyer for him to tell me to come in here. So I would like to fire my lawyer. You're not firing your lawyer right now. Your lawyer's doing a really good job. Why? Because he's doing things the way you want to do it, railroading me. You're not giving us any objections. My lawyer have it on file. She's going with the prosecutor the whole way. She's being biased the whole time. And obviously she has attitude with me and doesn't like me because it's caught on camera. So I'm not getting a fair trial and it's coming out. She's shaking, or if you're watching her closely, she's shaking in her boots because my lawyer is giving her law and giving her objections that make sense, but they're trying to find any little thing to get away with what they're doing. They're like, oh yeah, well, there's this one case law right here. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll go with that. No. Anything we ask for is no. You put stuff in that confuses the jury, and then you say, oh, we gave you a fair trial. No, you didn't. Because if we was dealing with just her and me, I would be innocent. Because you would have to listen to the interview with the police. Listen to the interview with the police. She told them we'll make love. She told originally, if you listen to the interview with the T, the original interview with only the part where she's telling you exactly what happened that night. That's the most honest story she's given, because no one had got in her head yet. This is her own story. Then you hear the T plant in her mind, do you think that was sexual assault? And she was like, no. Then you can hear right after that, she says it was fake. Well, he thought I wanted was dick, but I wanted love. Then the T is saying to her group that's trying to get me locked up, she should go to the police. Ooh. She's like, yeah, I know. I told him to go to the police, but she's not going. She said she doesn't want to do that. And then boom. Then right after that, the T contacted the detectives. The detectives drive out to Natiri and do the interview. When they do the interview, Natiri tells them the story. They're investigating about the revenge porn. So when they're investigating, she tells them, then you say this. Then the detectives on there like, this guy's a clown. This guy's a bad person. You love him. Yeah, I know you love him, but you love a bad person. We need to jam him up. We need to put him in prison. We need you to prosecute. Without you, we have nothing. Okay? He's an asshole. This guy's a bad guy. We need you. Without you, we have nothing. Exactly. Because they had nothing without her. So then they were desperate. So what they do, they was like, I know you said you had sex. Was this consensual? Why would you have to ask somebody that got raped was it consensual? This is why they won't play it in court. Because you're coaxing her, and why would you ask her that? Then she says, I don't know what you mean by consensual. Because now she's trying to get the head. I mean, I said, did you say no at any time? You said, well, I said no, I didn't want to be there. But that's not a rape. You get what I'm saying? So she says no, she didn't want to be there. And then it goes into she asking her, was it consensual 6 times? Go listen to it, y'all, on my YouTube page if you want to know the truth. If you don't want to know the truth, if you hate me, that's fine. But I don't deserve to go to prison. I know y'all want to see me out there getting this, you know what I'm saying, doing me. The funny thing about the haters is if I get locked up and I go away for life, you have no more content. Think about it. Okay, so I got to go. Love myself. I'll talk to y'all later, babies. So yeah, like I said, y'all, I'm not.
Sure. Eligio, sis, you on mute. You on big mute. Not mic mute, but big mute. First of all, Eligio, we not gonna do this, sir. We not Bill Cosby and you. None of that. Okay, none of that. You talking about, and one part of this I did agree with Eligio on. Yes, Rich Eyes Crayons. Yes, this call just happened like 20, 30 minutes ago. Um, he is basically saying that he is not getting a fair trial, that his lawyer is objecting, but the judge is not adhering to his objections, which I don't the court feed that we've watched, those were a lot of the things that we quote unquote complained about was why wasn't Mr. Booker objecting? So with Eligio saying he objects, but she's not allowing it, I'm not understanding because to me his lawyer isn't objecting enough. Um, in a sense of if he wants to do an appeal on this trial. Eligio is also stating that God is on his side because the judge caught COVID. That was nature being on his side because they're not doing right by him. He is saying that the state will not allow the victim's original interrogation interview. They will not allow that. Um, which I'm with Eligio on, right? I'm with him on that part because they should if they're going to allow his police interview into court, they should also be allowing the victim's initial statement into the court, not just the officer that she talked to. Because they did bring in the officer that she talked to, the one that she pressed charges for the um, videos, but they never, they didn't play the audio transcript like they did with Eligio. And so I know y'all are probably gonna, throw stones at me in the chat, and that's fine. Um, but I do believe, I'm kind of with him on that stance that they are burying him in a sense of being a cult leader and not these specific charges that have been placed on him. They are really hammering it down that he is a cult leader. And I think maybe that's the prosecution's stance is to prove the rape allegations, the all of the other allegations. They're trying to paint this picture that he is a controlling, manipulating man. And so he has created an environment to where people cannot say no. And I don't think Eligio's understanding that aspect of it either. Eligio is not really understanding how court goes.
Yeah. This is not a real nigga moment,
No.
which he's treating it like such. We are not this is not the court of the public opinion. And then he's trying, you see how he's doing the tea, right? And the
Mhm.
tea, everywhere I go, every country I've been to, this is what they do. No, Negro, this is what you do. We just document it. That's all.
That's all.
Um, I don't know the teas. I don't know if she's been on the phone calling people before. I know I have, but there was only a handful of us. Majority of these people were just watching. And then he
Mhm.
likes to throw things up like, well, if I go to prison, what kind of content are you going to have? What? This isn't about content, Bishop. It is for you and your goofy tribe so you guys can get money, but it's not for us. And I know it is for some people, but again, that's only a handful of people.
Mhm.
Majority of people are just here to watch, not intervene, not go out and call authorities. They're just here to watch, unfortunately, for entertainment purposes. So,
Mhm.
and he's great at entertaining the masses. Don't get me twisted. This is entertainment if you look at it that way.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, good luck with
'Cause
that though, Bishop.
he even tried to say that in that little call, like, we were this was spiritual improv. We were making skits. Uh,
Mhm.
and I'm like, no, no, bro. Like, I'm sick of y'all trying to do that, trying to gaslight us into saying that what our reality wasn't real, because that was definitely real. I hope
Mhm.
someone sent this to Miss Hydrick this morning
Absolutely. I hope it
because
slid right across her desk.
mhm, mhm.
And I'm sure they
I'm
have
sure
somebody watching that page, the prosecution's office. I'm sure they have somebody at this late in the game. They have to.
oh, yeah. And it's the same with his witnesses, because the defense's witnesses, they've been out here doing interview after interview after interview after interview, telling the public what they're going to say on the stand.
Hmm. And you know what? For a good minute there, I was like, I don't think he's going to take the stand. But now I'm starting to see that he's not going to be able to help himself.
Mm-mm. After this phone call
So,
that we heard this rising, baby,
hmm
he gonna be on that stand,
oh, he going to be on the stand.
and he gonna be
Salute
up
to
there telling them how they're maliciously prosecuting him.
I can't wait. I mean, I again, I know I'm making light of the entire situation, but when you can't cry, you just laugh at things sometimes. So, but salute to everybody coming in the chat. Oh, Shun, I seen you, baby, and
Right.
I was watching your recap on it as well earlier this rising. Vicky, I seen you come through. Everybody else, I seen Lion Pelt was in here earlier. Excuse me, I had to step away for a phone call, but yeah, I think I got everybody that came through. Hi, everybody. Please hit the like.
The
And
fly says the prosecution needs to call Labanya to testify, and we are in agreement. The fly,
mhm,
Labanya definitely needs to hit this stand.
mhm. Got her fired from her job. She has plenty to tell, all because she was taking down a sex cult. This man right here.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, so yesterday, Godmama, we ended with Velvet's testimony, right? Well, we
It
ended with him yelling about firing his attorney and stuff like that. But as far
yeah,
as uh on the stand
yeah.
testimony.
We
So
we ended with the defense cross of the ex-wife.
mhm, mhm. So we are going to go back to the prosecution um testimony or questions with the ex-wife. So let's buckle up for this one and then we'll chop it up here in a minute.
Fear that they feel and how things happen. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I really don't know how the defense will swing it. They did a really good job with the detective. That was the first time where I was like, okay, Booker is really doing his thing. Like he was really like trying to poke holes in like the investigation part of it. But I think that the actual member's testimony holds way more weight than what holes he poked and everything like that. So
another limiting instruction. Again, sometimes evidence is admitted for a limited purpose or for some counts and not others. Such evidence may be considered by the jury for the sole issue or purpose, or only for the counts for which the evidence is limited and not for any other purpose. In order to prove its case in counts 3 through 5, the state must show intent and may show motive. To do so, the state has offered evidence of other acts allegedly committed by the accused. You are permitted to consider that evidence only insofar as it may relate to those issues and not for any other purpose. You may not infer from such evidence that the defendant is of a character that would commit such crimes. The evidence may be considered only to the extent that it may show the elements or issues that the state is required or authorized to prove in the crimes charged in the case now on trial. Such evidence, if any, may not be considered by you for any other purpose. The defendant is on trial for the offenses charged in this bill of indictment only and not for any other acts, even though such acts may incidentally be criminal. Before you may consider any other alleged acts for the limited purposes stated, you must first determine whether it is more likely than not that the accused committed the other alleged acts. If so, you must then determine whether the acts shed any light on the elements of the offenses or issues for which the act was admitted in the crimes charged in the indictment in this trial. Remember, keep in mind the limited use and the prohibited use of this evidence about other acts of the defendant. By giving this instruction, the court in no way suggests to you that the defendant has or has not committed any other acts, nor whether such acts, if committed, prove anything. This is solely a matter for your determination. You may proceed.
Velvet, how old are you today?
I'm 27.
When did you first hear of Eligio Bishop?
In February of 2017.
How did you come to learn about him?
I was on social media in college studying agriculture. And when I came across his video, it kind of just popped up on my feed. Later down the line, I realized why it popped up on my feed, because when people are searching your name on social media platforms, their algorithm, whatever their content is, starts to pop up on your content. So that's how I came across my feed. And I watched his video, and he was in nature with another woman. And then it was pretty interesting what he was talking about, because I was studying agriculture and I had some of the same, thought processes. So I started to get a little deeper and go look at other videos that he had. And that's when I realized there was a whole group of people outside of him. And I started studying everybody. And I was like, this is cool, this is neat. And it was solely surrounded and talking about nature. And that's what really caught my attention.
So where were you studying agriculture at that point?
Tuskegee University, that's at Alabama, Tuskegee, Alabama.
Are you from Alabama originally?
I am not.
Where are you from?
I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay. And was that where you were staying before you went to college?
Excuse me, say that again?
Is that were you in New Orleans up until you went to college?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how far along in your college studies were you?
I was in my second semester, the beginning of my second semester.
And when you started watching these videos of Mr. Bishop and his group, where were they? Like, do you know where in the world they were?
They were in Costa Rica, Periscal, Costa Rica.
And when did you end up leaving, or did you end up leaving to go stay with them?
Yes, I did. I ended up leaving to go stay with him at the end of February in 2017.
So about how long from when that first video popped into your algorithm until you left?
This was about, I would say about a good 2 weeks, more or less.
Were they still in Costa Rica at that point?
Yes, sir.
How did you end up getting from Alabama to Costa Rica?
I had took my tuition money and paid for my plane ticket, and then paid for my passport. I gave all of my clothes away, my shoes away, everything, because at that time, he was encouraging whoever was coming that, you should let go of all of your belongings and denounce your family and, basically do away with your connection to your life and who you are and kind of like remake yourself. So
What family did you have in New Orleans?
my whole family, like my mom, my dad, my sisters, like my brothers, my aunts, my uncle, my whole lineage, basically.
Did you tell any of them where you were going before you left?
Yeah, I told my mom and my dad.
When you got to Costa Rica, how was that experience when you first landed and got there?
It was different. It was different because I never met people in this type of setting before. So when I initially met Olmec, that was the first person that I met, Olmec.
Who was that?
Olmec, that's Kanar, right? Another ex-member that was there back then.
Is that like OMEC?
I think he spells it OLMEK.
Okay.
Yeah, preferably. Nevertheless, when I first met Olmec, me and him had a very neutral relationship. And so we were just like, hey, it was cool, And then that's when I met Nature Boy or Eligio Bishop after that. with one of his wives at the time, and then I got to meet everybody else. But when I initially met Nature Boy, he was real like reserved. He didn't really say much. He was on live doing a video, so he was talking, but it wasn't directly to me. He gave me a side hug, and it didn't seem like he had any bad intentions or anything. So, it was just regular. It was just like regularly meeting him.
How many folks were in the group at that point?
Maybe like probably between maybe like 14, maybe like 12 to 20 people, because so many people had come in and out and was leaving in and out that the numbers always fluctuated.
Okay. And this was around February 2017?
Yeah.
Did you go by your legal name within the group?
I did not. No one goes by their legal name. Eligio Bishop renames everyone because he feels like, or he has stated that he thinks that whatever your name is when you come is not who you are. So he changes your name, and then it's like a recreation of who you are, basically.
And how was that process like for you?
Well, this adds on to like when I first met him and how it started changing. So initially, after I met him, we drove to a restaurant, and then when we sat at the restaurant, he started to ask me all of these questions, and like some of the questions that still stands out to this day is the fact that he kept asking me if I wanted to be with Omek. And so I kept saying yes, that I want to be with Omek, but he kept pushing it like, are you sure? Do you want to be with Omek? And I'm like, that's what I said, that's what I want. So he just kind of backed off or whatever, and then everything was regular. But way before he was asking me those questions, after me and Omek had our relationship, you cannot go to carbonation without Nature Boy's consent. So you have to talk to him at some point. So it was an initiation process for me to be introduced to Nature Boy, for me to have a conversation with him.
So are you talking about before you ever traveled there?
Correct.
That's the time frame you're talking about now?
Correct.
Okay.
So as me and Nature Boy is talking, before I went there, he stated to me that he wanted my name to be Job or whatever. And I asked him, like, why that name? And he stated that he felt like that's what, for the lack of better words, because I can say what he said, but for for everybody present, basically that's what he felt like God wanted my name to be. So I was like, okay, then my name is Job. But later down the line, the timeline as it progressed, I realized that he didn't name me Job because God wanted my name to be that. He named me Job because he named all of the women to be his wives. So at that time, he had another wife named Yaya, and he wanted our names to match, and he wanted all of his wives' names to match so that he can have whatever satisfaction. So he named me because he wanted me to be a wife, but he never said out of his mouth, I want you to be my wife, and I want your name to be Job. Except instead of doing that, he went around and it was like, okay, well, since you're not my wife, your name can't be Job because you're not my wife, because I wanted to be with Omek. So then he settled to name me EJ, which is his son's name.
Okay. And
she had a little emphasis on that.
What was the name that you used most of the time that you were in the group?
It really just depends, because I was called EJ for a long time. I was called, my name turned from EJ to Eliana. And my name was Eliana for a long time. And then that's when I had my daughter, and we named her Eliana, which was weird. I digress. But then after Eliana, my name turned into
She about
Nana,
to be on fire,
and
baby.
then he started changing his name. And then my name changed from Nana to Nana G. And so like between Eliana and Nana was like the most, what my name was over the duration of these 8-7 years.
So you mentioned a couple of things that happened in your time there, and we'll get to those. Going back to sort of when you first got to Costa Rica and to the group, did you learn of any rules within the group?
Yeah. Way before you come to Carver Nation, there's rules. So like the rule is you have to get rid of all your stuff. You have to change your name. Those are non-negotiable. When you get there, you have to put all of your financial belongings into what we would call a pot, where we would pull resources from the group, and we would use these resources to feed ourselves, travel, etc. If you didn't give your documentation, you were like verbally abused in amongst the circle. Like they would make, like have a meeting. We would call them meetings, kind of like what was going on right now, except if you were the victim, we would be like, why aren't you putting your money? Are you for it? Are you, and then it would be like verbal abuse. And so that was a rule. Another rule was that we couldn't use the bathroom. We had to use the bathroom a certain way. At one point in time, and because things progressed, it didn't keep happening, but it actually was a rule for us not to wear shirts. Like women couldn't wear shirts.
I remember that.
So we started putting leaves on our nipples, going live. And other things that I wouldn't consider quote unquote rules, but were non-negotiable things in the group was that every woman had to have sex with Nature Boy or have some type of sexual fantasy with him. And a lot of times when that would happen, it would be forced and not consensual because it was not negotiable for anybody there.
So going back to the rules that were more like understood and like with using the bathroom or just sort of when people ate, things of that nature, where did those rules come from? Was it like a democracy or something else?
Nature Boy considers himself to be our higher self. He considers himself to be God. So he went from saying that I'm your higher self to I'm your master teacher, which is essentially a higher ranking than you are, right, in the group. And he went from master teacher to God. And so he believes that he is the end all be all, the alpha and omega. Like how we pray to God every day, that's how he feels. So these rules came from that ideology alone, with him just feeling like he's the ruler of the earth plane.
You mentioned questions you received about like whether you wanted to be in a relationship with Olmec. Were there generally rules related to romantic relationships within the group?
I wouldn't necessarily label them as rules, because it never was an atmosphere where it was like, this is a rule, right? And because if it's a rule, you're not going to do it. But in the atmosphere was more like persuasion and manipulating tactics for us to like make certain decisions or not make certain decisions. Like it was real like smoky, if that makes sense.
Were there times where folks within the group were forbidden from having a sexual or romantic relationship with one another?
Excuse me, you're slurring. I can't. Can you say it again?
Were there times that folks within the group were prohibited from having a sexual relationship with one another?
Yeah, at times, yeah. It would be times where, say for instance, Nature Boy didn't want somebody. I know I was prohibited from being in a relationship with anybody in the group. I had to be with him, like period. But if it was somebody else, say for instance, he didn't want that woman to be with that man, and she did, he would allow it, but not really, because when she would go be with that man, and he would, scold both of them, like, y'all doing the wrong thing. He would take the man to the side and take the woman to the side and talk to both of them individually and tell them different things and turn them against each other, right? And say, for instance, that woman be with that man that she wants to be with and they have a baby is even worse, because now he's verbally abusing not only the couple, but now he's targeting the child. So he'll say stuff like, that baby's a demon. You're not supposed to be having a baby with that man. You're supposed to be having a baby with me. And why do you want to have a baby with a man with weaker genes and all of these different things of that nature? So, yeah.
Were folks within the group able to say no to Mr. Bishop?
No, I don't personally feel like nobody was able to say no.
You kind of talked about it a little bit. You were there sort of near the beginning in February 2017. What was sort of the message or the defendant's teachings at the beginning?
Excuse me. His teachings were to live in nature, to study what we would call the 5 sciences, which was study medicine, biology, grounding, metaphysics, and one other one, agriculture, grounding, right? And that was his ideologies. And then other teachings that weren't really broadcasted that big, like the 5 sciences was this is what the world knew. But other things that he taught was in the very beginning, because it started to morph over time. So in the beginning, it was the women, you couldn't have children as a woman. If you had a child, it was a curse from God. It was your karma. And you couldn't have sex. And if you had sex, then you was it was just weird, or, it was just kind of frowned upon. And then over time, it started turning into him wanting to have sex with everybody. And then when he did that, one of the women got pregnant at the time. And when she got pregnant, he was all magically oh, we need to have kids, and then he started pushing that. So certain things just started changing over time, obviously.
And did what Mr. Bishop referred to himself as, did his name change over time as well?
Yeah, for sure.
How did he refer to the outside world or folks outside of the group?
First it started with our families, right? Because, naturally having a family, you would want to talk to them, call them, but he would say stuff like, that's Babylon. So we're not a part of Babylon because Babylon lives backwards. And then he would give examples the medical industry, using pharmaceuticals to keep up the medical industry, in essence. And then he would talk about how in agriculture, when people are genetically modifying plants, and how that's bad for the human body, and how we need to not do these things. So he essentially felt like if our parents or anybody connected to us, or even if they weren't in the outside world, if they were indulging in these things, then they were, we were not supposed to engage with that. We were not supposed to interact with it. And so, yeah, that's the outside world. The real world, reality, is bad. It's not something that you should participate in. It's not something that you should even give a second thought about, because that's not real. That's not reality.
At some point while you were in the group, did you and the defendant develop a romantic and sexual relationship?
We did.
And how did that begin?
So in the process of me and Omek being together, like I was saying initially, he had already had a liking to me, which was discreet on his behalf, because I had already chosen to be with Omek. So I believe that he was secretly trying to see how he could be with me. So me and Omek would get into arguments a lot about me liking Nature Boy and Nature Boy liking me, and I would have dreams. And so I would talk to Omek about it, not because I had it, but because it was just it's all coming to me. And so Nature Boy will pull him to the side and say stuff like, you know, she's gonna be with me anyway. You might as well let me be with her, you know. And then he'll pull me to the side and he'll say stuff like, you know, he's really not your type. You know, he's just your friend. Trying to manipulate the situation into us thinking that we didn't really love each other. So eventually, after so many months of just arguing with Omek, I decided to break up with him. And so when I broke up with him, I decided to be single in the group. But that was a perfect opportunity for Nature Boy to love bomb. I call it love bomb. So essentially,
what do you mean by love bomb?
Love bombing, like being really romantic with me, trying to show me that he's interested, telling me all the things that I wanted to hear, you know, buying me whatever I wanted, just really being engaged with the fact that I love you, I want to be with you, I just really like you, I like the way you wear your hair, I like the way you wear your scarf, I want you to wear your scarf today. And he would have other women come tell me these certain things. So it wasn't just like out the blue, it was like he had other people come relay the message. And then I guess that was his way of making me feel comfortable. And that was his way.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. I know it was getting good. I know you was getting into it. I know. But listen, I'm sorry. I have to pause and I have to
tell me that he liked the cookies
Thank
that
you
I
for
made.
being here.
And they had me making cookies for 3 months straight every night. Was, you know, after that, so long of that, he came in and was like pushing up on me. You know, he was like really aggressive. Like when you first meet somebody and you want to date them, you don't just start feeling on them and coming up on them and like, you know, you want me, you know, you want this, you know. And that's essentially what it was like. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm very young at this point. So I'm like, if you want to be with me, you know, I don't have a real gauge on relationships or how to deal with men. So I'm like, okay, well, if you want to be with me this bad, because you really want to be with me, it's like a very obvious. So let's see if we can make it work, you know? And so there were other components that made me want to be with him too at that time. Like, you know, everybody, it was viral. So everybody was watching it on social media and everybody was like, she's very articulate. She's very this, she's very that. Why isn't she your wife? Why is she with the other guy? And so it was a big influence as well, like to make that decision.
Sure. So about how long after you joined in February of 2017 before you and Mr. Bishop began your relationship?
This was, it was in 2018. And I have to jog my memory because so much has happened in the last, from 2017 up to 2020, so much has happened that I literally have to slow down to remember it all. But I do definitely remember us getting together in 2017 because my daughter was born January 2019. So at some point in 2018, we got together.
Okay, so sometime in 2018 is when you all got together.
Mm-hmm.
And how was it at first being in a relationship?
It was the love bombing. So he was considerably polygamous the whole time that I was there, which I had agreed to because to be with him you have to agree to be polygamous. So and that was surrounding the fact or his ideology of his reasoning behind being polygamous, which was to essentially like build a home business, a family business. So like you have employees and you have them work, but not necessarily like not like a, how do I say it? It's like, you know how you go to a job and you got employees and you got the boss and stuff like that. It's not that intense, but mainly in a home setting. So like the women were supposed to come together to create, you know, like paint, draw, dance, you know, be fruitful with our skills and our gifts and our talents and use that as an avenue for income, which is very much well possible. So I thought in my mind, like this could be lucrative, you know, especially if all of us are on one accord. But when I chose to be polygamous, we instantly was like monogamous. So when we were monogamous, he was doing the whole love bombing thing. Like, I really love you. I really want to be with you. You make me so happy. I really see you as the only woman in my life. I want you to have my children. You know, everything a woman want to hear. So eventually, I got pregnant, and when I got pregnant, that's when the abuse started, and he really started getting abusive with me. And then later down the line, he had admitted to me that he couldn't wait to get me pregnant, and his goal was to get me pregnant so that he can do whatever he wants, so that I wouldn't leave him. So me getting pregnant was his way of trapping me in my mind, in my heart. That's what I feel, you know, because I'm young, and he would also use like we would call them generational curses. So he would say stuff like, you don't want to take your daughter away from her father because that happened to you. And he would use my childhood traumas to guilt trip me into staying with him, keeping our family together. And that aside from that is essentially why I kept going back, because I wanted to keep my family together. And he used monogamy to manipulate it or manipulate the situation. And
So let's go back to, you said January 2019 is when your daughter was born?
correct.
Okay. And so when did you learn you were pregnant with your daughter?
This was in 2018 in Belize. The timeline, like I said, the timelines run together so much because where we were, the weather was the same all the time. So it wasn't like I could tell if it was like spring, winter, fall, summer, right? Then on top of that, he would encourage us not to really keep up with the days, the times, and stuff like that. So we just naturally grew accustomed to not checking the time, not checking the day, not checking the hours. So it's like,
Sure. And you may have sort of mentioned this, but did your relationship with Mr. Bishop change after the birth of your daughter?
yes.
How so?
It got really verbally abusive. It started to be verbally abusive. And
then, I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
it started off as verbal abuse. And then because I thought we were equally yoked, you know, I thought like I could voice my opinion, but when I would voice my opinion and like stand up for myself and be standing on my boundaries, he would verbally abuse me, and then that would turn into physical abuse while I was pregnant. So most of my boundaries was, you're not going to sleep with a woman if I don't choose her or if we don't choose her. You're not going to be sleeping with anyone if we're not getting tested or, you know, there's not proper precaution. Like, those were some of my main boundaries that I can remember, like, just to jog my memory. But he wanted to do what he wanted to do. He wanted to sleep with who he wanted to sleep with. So it was never a choice.
Is it safe to say that most of the turmoil in your relationship was around the issue of polygamy?
Absolutely. And then he even tried to use that against me to say like, oh, you're jealous, you're this, you're that. So a lot of my relationship was trying to prove to him in a way that I'm not jealous. Like, what do I gotta be jealous for? So I actually started making relationships with the women, but I couldn't handle it because of the fact that these, like, it was just so chaotic to the point where like, this is not healthy for me. This is not healthy for my child. This is not healthy for none of us involved. So I would want to leave. But when I would want to leave, he would help my documentation. He would.
All right, we'll get to, let's take it one step at a time. So after your daughter was born, which, how old is she now?
She's 5.
After she was born, did you consider leaving?
Yes.
What led you to consider leaving?
He was really wanting to have sex with women that he just really wanted to have sex with any and everybody.
More
And I was
issues
like,
about
yeah, sex with
okay.
other people.
Sorry. And what ended up stopping you from leaving that time?
That specific time, I didn't have my daughter's citizenship, U.S. citizenship. She was born in Mexico. And I couldn't, at the time, pass my citizenship down to her because I didn't have the proper connections to prove my 5 year of residency here in the United States, which Eligio Bishop did have that proof. But he waited to get her citizenship because he wanted me to stay. So he would use her as a thing. Like, if you leave, you're gonna have, he would say this to me, if you leave, you're gonna have to leave her. And he knew I wasn't, didn't want to leave my baby. But at some point in time, I wanted to leave so bad. And I still feel bad for this day, but I take accountability for what I go through. I wanted to leave so bad one day that I contemplated leaving my child in this coat. And I was on my way out and my boobs just started leaking of milk. And I was just like, I can't leave my child. So I went back, and he started smuggling her through the borders. And we finally got her citizenship that same year, 2019 in June, when we traveled to Nicaragua and they forced us to get her documentation.
All right, so by June 2019, she would have been about 5 or 6 months old?
Yeah.
And so once her citizenship papers were in order, did you ever try to leave at that point?
Yes, I did.
And when was that?
This was I remember us being in Nicaragua. We got her citizenship. He went and started doing the polygamy thing again, doing all of that. And I wanted to leave. But I actually did leave. But the only way I was able to leave that time was I stole some money out of his wallet. I stole my passport because he always keep my documentation, so I stole it. And then I left. And then when I left, I got on a bus and then I went to like some random part of Nicaragua. I don't even remember where I was, but I was there. And then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, I don't even know how to get back home from here. So I just went back because I didn't know what to do. So I went back. And when I went back, he was there and they was like all embracing me, like, welcome back. I'm glad you're back and all of this stuff like that. And then shortly after that, when I went back, I was trying to leave again. But when I almost left, he wound up getting incarcerated or detained in Nicaragua because social media.
So were you able to leave at that point?
Considerably, yes. After he got detained in Nicaragua, yes, I was able to leave.
Okay. And did you stay out of the group for long?
Well, I did leave again after so I did stay out for a long time, yeah. It was about a couple months I stayed out after leaving him in Nicaragua.
What made you come back?
Once he got incarcerated or detained in Nicaragua, they deported him back to the United States. So when he got back to the United States, that's when he was like hitting my phone up and stuff like that. I was considering co-parenting with him. And he actually came to the state that I was in, which was Florida at the time, to come get me. So again, it was the whole like love, bombing, romance thing. We're gonna be monogamous. I'm gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna do it for a child and all of this. We don't want to continue perpetuating generational curses. So I agreed, and then he came and got me from Florida, and then we traveled back to, I think it was Mexico, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But I would really have to jog my memory because it's a timeline. So
at some point, COVID starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
March 2020, that can kind of be a guidepost. Where were you all at that point?
COVID hits, we're in Atlanta, Atlanta, Georgia.
And about how many folks are in the group at that point?
It's about maybe 13 to 20 people, roughly.
Is that sort of the numbers that it stayed relatively constant even if the people changed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes.
And About how long had you been back by the time COVID started? Like a couple weeks, couple months, longer than that?
Maybe like a month or two, maybe.
Was it any different, any better, any worse that time?
At that time, it was really hard to gauge because he would change a lot. So like he would be really abusive, like really, really abusive, and then he'll go from that to being really calm, really chill, really like, we're cool. I'm not mad. I'm not whatever. So a lot of the times I got comfortable with him again because he made me feel comfortable until the abuse started to happen again. But every time abuse happened again, when he would calm himself down, the abuse just kept getting worse over the years.
At some point, did you and Mr. Bishop get married?
We did.
Tell us about that.
August of this was 2020. August of 2020, we got married, and July, before August, in July, on July 4th, this was really like, this was it. Like, this was it. This was for me to leave and never go back. July 4th, he had, and I remember telling you about this incident, but
So July 4th, where are you all?
This is California. We're in
Okay.
California.
So you all are in California. What's going on July 4th?
We're out having fun. He starts to drink at this time. Mind you, he doesn't. The group is supposed to not. We're not supposed to be drinking. We're not supposed to be smoking, right? Because that's Babylon. That's the outside world. Things the outside world do. So we're drinking alcohol at the time, and he's like, "Let's go to the park. Let's go have a party." He's really drunk. So we go to the park, and I have my daughter or whatever. And when we get to the park, mind you, in this event, me and him have made an agreement, which we've had multiple agreements, which was why I went back every time, to be monogamous, to co-parent, and to be there for our daughter. So that's the intent that's there, right? So as we're at the park, he gets to flirting with all of these women again, doing the whole, I want to have sex with all of the women again, and I want all of the women to be my wives. So I immediately just shut down. I don't talk, I don't look at nobody, I don't dance, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting crisscross with my baby in my arms.
So you go to the park. Is this like a big open field? Is it like a pavilion? Like, describe the park.
It was a big open field. It was a big open field.
Daytime or nighttime?
It was nighttime, like really dark outside, like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Okay, and so you all are in this open field late at night, and you describe you're kind of off on your own.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes. So
what happened next?
I'm sitting down with my baby in my lap, and he noticed my disengagement, and he comes and he's trying to ask me these questions, and I'm like, I don't fuck with you. That's honest. Like I literally was like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, get off my face. And so he was drunk, of course. I mean, he got into his feelings and stuff, and he was like, "You're gonna engage with me. You're gonna talk to me." And I'm like, just looking at him, like, ready to go. And he was like, "You're gonna be a part of this, and you're gonna be Queen of Coronation, and you're gonna do your job, and you're gonna do what I tell you to do," or whatever he said after that. And so I still disengaged, and then because of my disengagement, he started to physically abuse me. And then leading more into the physical abuse, he ordered everybody in the group to make a circle around us so that he could beat me inside the circle. So he told one of the women to come grab my baby out of my hand, and she did. I don't even know who it was. I forgot who it was. She grabbed the baby. She stepped on the outside of the circle. They closed me in, and he physically abused me very severely in that circle for maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. And after everything was over, he asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital, but at that point, I didn't care about nothing but my child. So, I reunited with my child, and then that day is when I started to plan my escape.
Monday.com is the ideal platform for any.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
Are you like her again? Like really? Again? Yes, again. But I'm not gonna hold y'all that long this time. Just the
That July 4th, 2020 day, had they already returned by that point?
I don't believe she was present.
She didn't come.
I don't think she was present.
She didn't come back when y'all were in Atlanta and then go.
She did, yeah, she did, yeah. She was there in Atlanta. Yeah.
So July 4th, that happens. You said in August the two of y'all got married.
Yes.
What
So,
happened?
After that incident in July, I planned my escape, and August hit. I was planning my escape, August hit. When August hit, and this was one of the rules, you couldn't get married. You couldn't have like Babylon documentations, like that was forbidden in the group. Like you couldn't get married. That's not something that we would practice. But in August of 2020, he went from not practicing that to, yeah, I want to get married. And so that raised a red flag to me because I already had been conditioned to not get married. So I was like asking him, like, why do you want to get married? Like, I'm trying to use his knowledge on him basically so he don't get married to me because I already know what's about to happen if we get married. And I'm planning my escape. I'm not trying to marry you right now. So he was like, yeah, I want to get married to you. This is what he tells me in the essence. He says, yeah, I want to marry you because if I marry you, you're going to be able to get me out of any type of, anything bad, if anything bad happens. And I'm thinking to myself, like, you gotta be one crazy person. Like, so fast forward, I couldn't say no and I couldn't show any type of resistance because it would end in physical violence. For me, it was a lot of strangulation. He would hit me in my face. I would have black eyes. I would have bust lips. He would pick me. Well, in this incident before, he had picked me up and kept slamming me on the ground. So I don't know what else could happen. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of played it cool. I was like, God damn, this is really about to happen. So he encouraged about 4 other couples to get married as well. And then we all got married at one time. And then we started to travel about again.
Were the other couples like Aaron?
And Aaron and Jacob, Kayla, and I forgot his name. But yeah, essentially.
And Jayon and
Courtney, yeah.
And what city was it in?
This was in Las Vegas.
Now, you said something a minute ago. You said you had to plan your escape.
Mm-hmm.
Why couldn't you just take your daughter and leave after what happened to you on July 4th of 2020?
He didn't want me to leave. He was obsessed with being with me. He literally would physically abuse me if I showed any type of, if I wanted to leave, if I said, Nisha, boy, I want to leave right now. You're not leaving me. Get her passport. Get the baby. Somebody get the baby. Get her, do all of these things. So now I'm pitted with 15, 14 people against me with a baby. This was every single time. So I started to understand the pattern of leaving at that point. So if I calm down and I do what you want me to do, that means that my passport, my documentations, and my baby is gonna be closer to me. But if I show any type of sign that I wanna leave and I'm gonna leave, everything gets taken away from me. So eventually over time, during my planning, I just did whatever I made him feel so comfortable to the point where he started telling me stuff I never heard him say before. He started doing stuff I never saw him do before. And I was like, oh, hell no. No.
Do you remember the date you were ultimately able to leave?
Yeah.
When was
I remember that date. That was November. It was literally in the beginning of November 2020. It was maybe the first, second, or third day of November in 2020.
Do you recall?
I do, yeah.
Do you remember a time in Mexico when you helped mistreat an injury?
Yeah, I do.
What was going on that day?
So, as we started to travel about, this was before my escape, we was traveling about. We were in Mexico at some point, and Eligio Bishop separated the men and the women into two different Airbnbs. And so his thoughts are every woman is his wife, so in the house with all of the women, he started to make relations with all of the women. And when he was making relations with all of the women, he was of course sexually sleeping, he was sleeping with everybody. So during that time, he wanted to do anal with me and like do all different kind of threesomes with me and all this stuff, but I was not. I would make excuses to not want to have sex with him or whatever. So he started to go to other women and find other women who he could, pursue these fantasies with. And was one of the women who he, from what I was told, forced himself upon in that incident. And when it happened, I didn't know about it. So she came to me after the fact and she was like, I have to show you something. She came to me, it was like really urgent. And I was like, kind of like taken aback. And she took me in the background and she said that your boy forced himself inside
Well,
of
what
me.
she said is just what did you see or what did you do?
Oh yeah, I told her show me, show me the injury. So when she showed me, it definitely was blood there and it was torn and I was like, ouch. And so I didn't really know what to do because I'm not a medical professional. So I just told her to clean it and I gave her some antibiotic ointment to see if that'll help, and that's really all I had to offer at that time.
And were you in the room with and the defendant when all that happened?
No, it was not. I didn't know. I didn't even know it was going on.
After you left in November of 2020, did you ever go back?
No.
After you left, did something happen online that concerned you?
Yeah. After I left, Nature Boy decided to start leaking sexual videos of me that I did not consent to him leaking.
How did you learn about this?
Somebody sent it to me over a social media platform.
And do you remember what platform it was on?
Instagram.
And who was depicted in the video?
I mean, it's me.
And with
It's
who?
me in the video with Eligio Bishop, giving him head, and even the way it was two videos, two separate incidences that he deliberately recorded, and both of those incidents resulted in physical violence because of the fact that I didn't want to do it, and he wanted me to do it, and he wanted to record me to do it. He wanted to record me while I was doing it for, I believe, the purpose in which he used it was to humiliate me, if I had ever left. And so that's exactly what he did with the videos. So, yeah.
First witness.
Yes.
I believe he's done, but we'll see how this goes.
Showing you this one labeled States Exhibit 6. Have you seen the video contained on there?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
It's me giving him head.
Is it the video we were just talking about?
Yes.
Fair and accurate copy of what was posted back then?
Yes.
Tender State 6.
Any objection?
No objection, State 6, Your Honor.
All right, it's submitted.
Unfortunately, I think we have to publish.
Okay.
On May 9.
Declare. And just a reminder.
All right, so I think they're gonna mute it probably because it's
Ciao. Well, yes, Mean Mug. She's hey Mean Mug, how y'all doing? And everybody else coming in the chat. So that's part one of the testimony from the prosecution's office. And we heard her her testimony yesterday from the defense office. I don't know. I see people in the chat saying good job, Velvet. Cheerio. I don't know.
Cheerio.
They're not saying cheerio, but they're being awfully nice over here in the chat. So, which I mean, who am I to not be nice in the chat?
Yeah.
For me, I just don't think this was. We're here for certain charges, and
Mhm.
I did like she brought up some things like, oh, he kept my passport, he kept my da da da. Okay, cool, I get that. But it was just a lot of filibuster for me. But again,
Mhm.
maybe because I've heard this testimony from her 17 million times.
Right.
So maybe I don't know. Go ahead, Godmama. What are your thoughts from yesterday's testimony and today's? Oh, we also have the testimony, the police thing too to play today, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Do
so
you
go
wanna
ahead.
roll do you wanna just roll out the defense just to hear it one more time to hear it,
That's up to y'all. It looks like it'll be about an hour or so. So it's really, let me listen here.
I trusted him at one point, many a times.
Hold on, I'm listening in. Let's listen in. Where are we at?
Yes.
Okay, the prosecution had a little bit more to
while
finish
I'm
up.
listening for other stuff, but like how it was.
Okay, we have a little
Audio's
bit
back.
more from the
I
prosecution.
guess it goes without saying that March 24th of 2022, were you living with Eligio Bishop?
No,
So you weren't there?
no,
During your time in the group, did you participate in social media videos, lives, things of that nature?
yeah,
Her mood is different now.
In those sorts of videos, did you say good things about the group?
no,
But I mean, were there times that good times as well in the group?
yeah,
And at times, you, the defendant, did you really care for him?
yeah. I trusted him at one point, many a times.
Yes.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Robert Folk. I represent Mr. Bishop. This is two questions for you, okay?
Okay, this is where the defense picks up. Is this where you're wanting to just go ahead and play it all the way through, Godmama? What time is it? It's 11:51. Okay, let's go ahead and do that because yeah.
Sure.
All right. So, you used to live with Mr. Bishop at a given time, right?
Yeah,
Yes, she speak up.
yes.
You did, right? Okay. And where did you live with him initially?
First Scout, Costa Rica,
What year was that?
2017.
Okay. And where else did you live with him?
Honestly, I lived with him in a lot of places.
Well, we want honesty, so that's why I'm asking. So let's just stick with all
Costa
of that.
Rica,
Okay.
Mexico.
Dang, coming
What year-
in
so let's
hot.
go slow. 2017, you were in Costa Rica. You met him there, right?
Yes.
Where'd you live with him next?
It's not that simple because we lived in basically all of Central America over the course of 3 years, which was a lot that happened in 3 years.
Okay.
So if we want to be honest and technical, I would literally have to jog my memory and literally
That's
go
right,
from
girl.
point to point to point to make sure that I fit in every place that we've been. I can only tell you right now, as of for the sake of time, of significant places that we've lived in the course of 3 years, so that we can understand the timeline as a rough draft, because we've been from back and forth to Mexico to the United States, back to Central America, and in short amount of times, like literally weeks within weeks. So it's really hard for me to say like this is where I went next, because we were deported from Costa Rica, went back to America, lived in Ohio, then we traveled somewhere else, and then we went back to Central America and lived in Mexico, and then we got deported from Mexico. We left Mexico and then went to another part of Central America. We stopped in Nicaragua at one point. We stopped in Guatemala at one point. We stopped in El Salvador. We stopped in Honduras. Then we left and we went back to the United States, and then we stayed in Georgia. We lived in Texas at one point. After getting we got deported so many times. And this is over 3 years worth of different places, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know you said time is an issue. My client's life is on the line, so we're gonna take our time and go.
My life is in danger, literally right now.
Thank you.
Good. All right.
So
Good job.
2017 Costa Rica. Were you in Costa Rica in 2018? Or let's keep it broader.
No.
Were you in Central America in 2018?
No.
Where were you at in 2018?
2018, I was in Texas.
Okay. Did you leave the United States with him in 2018?
I did.
Okay. 2019, were you in the United States or outside the United States?
Outside.
Where?
Mexico.
Okay. And did you remain in Mexico all of 2019? I know you probably visited the United States, but was that your primary residence in 2019,
yes.
Central America?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And in 2020, you came back to America, right?
Yes.
And that's when you ended the relationship.
Yes.
Got married, but then you left,
yes.
right? Okay. All right. And that was in the U.S., right?
That was actually in the U.S., yes.
Okay. So 2017 in Costa Rica. Was living with you guys at that time?
Yes.
She was living with y'all in 2017 in Costa Rica?
She was there for like 2 days.
2 days?
Yes.
Okay. Came and went, right?
Yes.
Okay. And she didn't come back again until 2020?
I didn't even remember. I don't remember her time. I don't remember when she came back, because as times when I was leaving, people was coming in.
Okay.
And as I was coming in, people was leaving. So I can't really, you would have to show me a video so I could tell you like, this is exactly.
Okay. But from 2017 to 2020, you said there were times that people were coming in and you were leaving and vice versa, right?
Yes.
So that means you came and went?
Yes.
Okay. How many times in 2017 to 2020 do you think you came and went?
Man, it was about maybe 4 times.
So only 4 times?
Maybe. I would have to go back and look at certain documents, because there were times where I actually left and then went back because I didn't have enough money. I didn't have my baby documents. And I attempted to leave a lot, like over 10 times. Like okay. I attempted to leave, but I successfully left about a good 4 times from what I know. Okay.
And of the 4 times that you know that you left, how long were you gone for those times?
Every time was different.
Give me a range.
I would say maybe 3 months, 2 or 3 months, maybe.
Each time?
Not each time, because each time was longer or shorter. It just depended on the timeline. But
okay, where'd you go?
To my family.
Where's your family?
To Louisiana.
To Louisiana?
Yes.
Okay, and who'd you stay with there?
At one point, well, actually, some parts of the times that I left, I went back to Louisiana and I stayed with my mom and my dad. And then another time I left and stayed with my sister in Florida.
Okay.
But majority of the times that I left, I would go back to Louisiana to my mom and my dad, and I would go there. Okay,
so but you left, according to you, over 3 years about 4 times, for 2 to 3 months, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter.
Yes.
But somehow you managed to leave each time, fly back to the United States, go stay with your family, right?
Absolutely.
So that meant that when you testified earlier that you were told not to be in communication with your family, somehow you were in communication with your family and you were able to go find them.
Yeah, because I snuck and talked to them.
You snuck and talked to them.
I made sure that I talked to them, whether he told me not to or to do it. I did what I felt was best for me at the time. Yes.
Your parents love you?
I think my parents love me.
Okay, so are you telling me that you showed up at your parents' house after describing to them abuse and all the things that you claimed that happened to you, and they would let you get on a plane and go right back to Costa Rica after being there for 2 to 3 months?
No, they didn't want me to go back.
Okay. Secondarily, how'd you get funds to be able to fly to the United States?
My family would pay for my fare.
They would send you money?
Yes.
Okay, and money for the baby as well?
Yes.
Okay. How'd you get funds to fly back?
I would actually make my own money, and so then I would use my money that I made, however I made it.
How'd you make it?
I had businesses at one point. I'm very talented, so I would paint, I would make jewelry. At one point in time, I was working for my sister or whatever, so she would give me an allowance. And then other people like my friends, well, not necessarily friends, but it was supporters, social media supporters. They would send me a lot of donations because they understood like what I was going through. So I used that money to help provide for me and my child.
So you were a constant social media presence yourself, right? People knew who you were on social media, right?
For the most part, yes.
They still know who you are on social media, right?
Yes.
Because you're well known on there, right?
Yes.
Okay, you and Solar are well known as well because you guys are a couple, right?
Were
a couple. Okay, and so you had a baby by Solar, right?
I did.
Okay, and when was that?
You want me to tell you when I had a baby for Solar?
That's what I just asked you.
I think it's coming back 4 o'clock.
All right, approach.
Okay.
Child, they want to know about Solar. This getting into the whole thing that I thought.
Yes.
Okay, you and Solar are well known as well because you guys are a couple, right?
Were
a couple. Okay, and so you had a baby by Solar, right?
I did.
Okay.
Done a really good job as so just to be in accordance of doing all of those things in a task. So if you
Bipolar 1, I got help to push back.
Folks that are coming in, cell phones need to be deposited in that box. There are no cell phones unless you're here with the media, you're an employee of,
they cracking down on the rules. Somebody came in probably new today.
employee of Mr. Booker. Okay, well, I just didn't want to leave you out, that's all. Okay.
Breaking the rules, child.
Are you ready for the jurors, or is there anything else I need to take up? All right, I needed to take care of that cell phone issue anyway, so, all right, bring the jurors in.
All right, we about to get into it. She had to get order in the court.
In Louisiana, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you testified though that people would have a hard time leaving the group, but somehow you managed to fly and leave the group several times yourself, right?
I would.
Can you answer yes or no and then explain?
Answer, do you need him to repeat the question?
Yeah, please, because.
You managed somehow to leave several times yourself. Isn't that
Yes.
true?
Yes.
Okay. You managed to leave in a van, for instance, right?
Yes.
Okay. A van that came to the house and picked you up.
Yes.
And you drove away with the baby.
No, he didn't come to the house. I actually walked away from the house and then went to a nearby spot where I can catch reception. So I called and they came pick me up.
Okay. All right. And no one grabbed you and pulled you down in that time, correct?
Everybody was sleeping. I escaped. I left when nobody knew.
Okay.
Every time I left, no one knew. I just left when no one knew.
So there wouldn't be any videos that exist of you being placed in a bus and leaving the Mexico or anywhere else, right? That's what you're testifying to?
The only place I remember leaving was
in a bus.
In a bus.
Or van.
The only time I can remember leaving was when I was in Panama.
Mm-hmm.
We was in Panama and I wanted to leave, and that was the only time Nature Boy had ever exhibited to me that I could leave. Like notions like you could leave, you can go. But when he told me that, he had took my phone. I didn't have no money, barely had clothes, I had a baby, and he knew that. So when he would take everything from me, that was his attempt to make me come back, because he knew that I couldn't get far without a phone or without money. And he would say that.
You left Panama?
I did leave Panama, yeah.
Okay. Somehow you managed to leave Panama in a white van that you got into with your child. You just testified you left Panama in a van.
No. I remember he had a white van. He drove me to a place, like a shopping mall, in a white van.
Mm-hmm.
I got in a white van in Panama with Nature Boy or Eligio Bishop and some other members. When he was like, you can leave. And he dropped me off at like this little mall complex or whatever. And so I immediately got dropped off. I went to the phone store and I fixed my phone. And then from there, I was
You fixed the phone that you didn't have? How'd you fix a phone if you didn't have a phone?
I called my sister because I memorized her
How'd you
number.
call her?
I called her number. I used the phone store.
The phone store's phone?
Mm-hmm. I went to the phone store. I asked them could I use their phone. I called her, asked her if she could help me fix my phone. She fixed my phone. That way, when I would travel away from the store, I'd be able to look up maps so I can get to the airport and everything like that. So after I left the phone store, she gave me enough money to where I can pay for the bus fare. So in Panama, it's not an actual bus. It's like little vans that they have, like taxis or whatever. So I got on one of those buses with the funds that my sister gave me so that I can go to the airport, and then I was able to fly back home. Like
okay.
that.
So you went to a phone store and fixed your phone.
Mm-hmm.
This was a phone that you had.
This was a phone that Eligio Bishop, I believe he gave it to me, but it wasn't my phone. Like I didn't pay for the phone or like lease the phone or anything like that. This was just a phone I had.
So he gave it to you, but it was broken. But you went to a phone store for them to fix it so you could call your sister.
So the phones situation in Carbonation, you don't really have reception on it. Like you put chips in the phone and stuff. Nature Boy was the person who designated other people to buy chips for everybody's phone. Only a couple people had chips in their phone. At the time, my chip had ran out of minutes because it's not like a phone plan. It's not like unlimited. It's like minutes or whatever. So my phone at the time ran out of minutes. And so when I went to the store, I was able to use the phone, call my sister, and then she gave me the money so that I could be able to, get the service back on.
Okay. So for the most part, you didn't have phone access?
No.
Okay. And you didn't? What do you mean necessarily?
As far as reception, I have internet access, but I didn't have reception. So like if I was in the close to Wi-Fi reception, I was able to call my sister. I didn't need to fix the phone, I didn't need a car. But when I would walk away from Wi-Fi reception, I wouldn't have access to anything. Okay.
So when you would, quote, sneak away to call your parents, as you testified to earlier, that was sneaking away within the house?
Not necessarily in the house. Sometimes I was outside, sometimes I was in the house.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you lived lots of places: Costa Rica, Texas, Mexico, and United States over 3 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you lived there during that time frame with Mr. Bishop? even though you left several times and came back. You agree with me about that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you had a phone that would work in the house.
Yes.
Right. And you indicated when you left 4 or more times that you were able to leave, go stay with your family, and come back.
Yes.
Right. It was, I think, according to you, discouraged for family to be present there, right?
Excuse me?
It was discouraged for your family to be present or to know where you were or something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you disagree with me that in 2019 that your family actually came and visited you there?
Was that 2018? Yes, I believe it was 2018, if I'm not mistaken. My father did come to Mexico.
To visit you in person?
Yes.
Okay. And he stayed there?
He visited. He didn't stay.
Okay.
That's different.
Y'all picked him up at the airport?
No.
How'd he get there?
I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't with him. I was with Eligio Bishop. Okay. From what I know to be true, he was in a taxi is what I knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
But somehow your dad came and he went to see his grandbaby, right? This was the baby you had with Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Okay. And your dad held up the baby along with you and Mr. Bishop, and you guys were all together. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And that was in 2019?
I believe so.
Okay. And you're saying that from 2017, 2018, you left and came back, but your dad flew down to Mexico to visit you in person and see his grandbaby in 2019?
No, I never left in 2018 because that was the beginning of our relationship. 2017 was when I was with Omek. 2018 was when I got with Mr. Bishop.
Okay.
By the time 2019 hit in January, which was the month that my baby was born, that's when I was like trying to understand how I could leave, and that's when really all of the leaving started. Shortly after I had the baby, she was about maybe 3 or 4 months. That's when my dad traveled to Mexico to come to see me. And then after he left, that's when I actually started leaving the group, in 2000.
So your dad came to visit you in person, stayed there with you, and you were in such an abusive relationship that he just left you there.
You're referencing 2 different experiences. Mm-hmm. Because when he first initially came, he was there, and me and Eligio Bishop had lunch with my dad and his wife at the time. And my dad wanted me to leave then, but I said no.
What year was that?
2019.
Okay.
And then there was another incident where my dad was present, and me and Eligio Bishop was going to get some medication for the child. And we actually ran across my dad, like we didn't know that he was there, so we just like ran across him. Mm-hmm. And when we ran across him, he stopped us obviously, and then he had a conversation with us. That's when we went out to lunch. And then I think this was a whole separate occasion, because I called my dad. My dad left, and then I called him and I told him that I wanted to leave, and then I think he came back actually. But it was multiple experiences or incidences that happened when my dad was present, which was about 3 times.
So let me make sure I'm clear on this. 2017, you just got there. There was no violence. Things were fine, right? 2018, things were fine.
Yes.
Okay. So 2019, you have the child.
Yes.
Okay. Things are not fine now.
Actually, so in 2018, I got pregnant. When I got pregnant in 2018, I don't remember the month I got pregnant, but that's when the abuse started. Okay. By the time I had the baby in 2019, in January, the abuse had started getting worse. Okay. So before I had the baby, he was already hitting me. He was already strangling me to a degree. After I had the baby in January, the abuse got worse.
Okay. You said strangling you to a degree. What does strangling you to a degree mean?
He would like just do it a little bit, but then over time it would be longer periods of time. He would choke me harder, in these periods of time, or whatever, to the point where in the beginning he would strangle me, and I would still like have my consciousness. I'd still be like, aware. I could breathe a little bit. But as time went on, it got to the point where I would black out. Like, I would lose my breath to the point where I would have to submit, or They'll just run out of oxygen.
Okay, and you guys were online like all the time then, right? There was videos being produced on a daily basis.
Yes.
Okay, and you were part of the people that were online, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you testified now that he strangled you to the point where you would lose your breath. And you testified earlier that you had busted lips, is what you said. Mm-hmm. You had black eyes, and you had strangulation. So being that all those things were happening to you, and you guys were online every single day, multiple times a day, there would be videos that would reflect you having marks around your neck because of your skin complexion, black eyes, and busted lips. Those videos would exist online, correct?
They don't exist online because I was not online in every live. When he would strangle me and hit me in my face and I would have these bruises, I was staying off the line. And it got to a point where, because I started out as such a social media presence and I was relatively online a lot of the times, the community, the social media followers, they would ask me in these periods of time when I would have bruises, maybe like 4 to 5 days at the most, they would ask, where am I? Why is she not present? And then there was a whole uproar when those times would happen. But I stayed behind the scenes and I didn't get online. And Eligio Bishop purposely didn't put me online because obviously he knew that would incriminate him. But there is one video that I personally know of to be true. This is when a woman that we named Mama Dia had actually passed away in the cold, whatever. There's a video where you can actually see where he had physically abused me, but for the most part, he did not want me to be online because it was very apparent.
Okay, and the other women that were there, they would have seen you being abused, right?
Not necessarily, because most of the abuse happened behind closed doors, so we had our own quarters away from everybody else. So he would physically abuse me in these quarters, but there were times where women were present watching me be physically abused, especially on July 4th.
Well, I'm saying if you had a black eye and busted lips, other people would have noticed that.
Well, yeah, when he would physically abuse me and we would have meetings and I would come back into the circle, yeah, like everybody saw it, everybody knew it.
Okay, so the other women would have saw that.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, all right. Now, in 2020, the relationship, it ended at that point, right?
Excuse me?
Your relationship with Mr. Bishop ended in 2020, correct? Yes. Okay, all right. And 2021, you were not around. Mm-hmm. March 20.
Is that a no?
No.
Okay.
March 24th, 2022, you were not around, no. Right? Okay. You did continue to make YouTube videos about Mr. Bishop, though, correct?
I did.
Okay. You made YouTube videos about him in 2022, correct?
I believe so.
You even made YouTube videos about, correct?
Yes, I did.
You made one with Solar, who is your child's father, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and her husband, right?
Whose husband?
Is it your husband or?
It's not my husband.
No, well, it's Miss.
Person is married to Jayon.
Oh, my brother. Oh, he's not married.
No.
Okay. Who is he married to?
He out of pocket.
She goes by Zoka.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Courtney is married to who? Or Courtney
Townsend is married to Jayon. I don't know her last name. She goes by Zoka.
Okay. Was ever married?
No.
Okay, so she was never married to Courtney Townsend at all?
Not that I know of.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, when your dad came to Mexico, the 3 times that he was there, how long did he stay each time?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Okay.
It's too much of a blur.
Too much of a blur. Okay. Would you say it was more or less than a week?
Less. It was less.
Less than a week each time?
I think it was less.
All right. Okay. Now, you also testified earlier when you first came to the group that you were a student in college, right?
I was.
Okay, and you were going to school for agriculture.
I did.
And you left your stuff and went to Costa Rica.
Yes.
Right? And then you went there because you wanted to be with somebody named Olmec. Is that correct?
I did not go there because I wanted to be with Olmec. I went there because I felt like the goal, the quote unquote mission, and what Nature Boy was teaching was how I wanted to live.
Okay.
Omek just happened to be somebody that I connected with, and we decided to be in a romantic relationship.
You and Omek?
Yes.
Okay. And you had to meet with Mr. Bishop on video before you went there, right?
I didn't meet with him on video, but I talked to him over the phone.
Okay. All right. So I think you testified earlier you had to meet with him before you ever came to the group. That was just a phone conversation.
You have to speak to him before coming. Like, you can't just go there. You have to speak to him, and whatever that looks like. Like, if he wanted to have a video call with you, then that's what it was. If he wanted to have a phone call with you, then that's what it was. If he wanted to text you, that's what it was. It just so happened to be with me. It was just a phone call.
Oh, no.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
I know you like Neek, really? Yes.
On video before you went there, right?
I didn't meet with him on video, but I talked to him over the phone.
Okay. All right. So I think you testified earlier you had to meet with him before you ever came to the group. That was just a phone conversation.
You have to speak to him before coming. Like, you can't just go there. You have to speak to him, and whatever that looks like. Like, if he wanted to have a video call with you, then that's what it was. If he wanted to have a phone call with you, then that's what it was. If he wanted to text you, that's what it was. It just so happened to be with me. It was just a phone call.
Okay. I know you like Neek, really? Yes. Okay.
I joined, or before I joined, he never told me like, hey, we're going to be using the bathroom like this, prepare for it. When I got there, it was just like, oh, this is how we use the bathroom. So I had to adapt.
Okay. So when you say something like we couldn't use the bathroom, isn't that a bit disingenuous to say we couldn't use the bathroom when that was just a way of life there?
No, I just feel like the reason why I worded it like that is because I feel like he used the bathroom as a way to have control over us. And by us not using the bathroom with a toilet in a bathtub, I was actually told and actually saw it at one point in time, like he would watch everybody use the bathroom. So like you would be naked.
You were told that yourself?
By one of the members.
That you were told by somebody else that he watched us use the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so.
All right. So you also testified do you recall testifying at a prior hearing?
Excuse me?
Do you recall testifying at a prior hearing before today?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall testifying that you said another big rule was that we couldn't speak to our family, and that if we did, we got scolded, right?
Correct.
And I think you testified something similar to that today, right?
Yeah.
But you never said at that time that your father had come down there and visited you several times, did you?
It didn't matter.
Okay.
My dad was gonna come regardless.
Okay.
I didn't have to have contact with him. He was coming to save me, to get me.
Right. You never said that you had left there numerous times as well, right?
In the last hearing, no, I didn't.
And let me ask you a better question. So 2017, 2018, there was no issues according to you, right?
In 2018, there were issues.
Okay.
2017, there weren't issues.
But the issue that you were speaking of, it happened in 2019 where there was some real violence, right? That's what your testimony, right? 2019?
2018, real violence was happening.
Okay.
When I was pregnant with my daughter,
when did you get pregnant?
About 3-4 months pregnant, he got mad at me because I didn't want him to be polygamous. And he is slapping me on the top of my head, and my nose is bleeding, and everybody's in the car watching it.
Okay. When did you become pregnant with that child? When in 2018?
I can't recall the months. It's too much.
You don't know the birth date of your child?
If I can sit here with you right now and pull out a calendar so we can correct these dates or figure out at what part of the timeline. I've had 3 children.
All right, hold on. All right, can we try to answer the question if you can, okay?
That's what I'm telling him. It's like these timelines right into each other. So from 2018 to 2019, if I could look at
I can re-ask the question for you.
All right, let him ask the question a different way.
Can you tell me the date your child was born?
January 18, 2019 is when she was born.
Okay. So it's fair to say that the child was conceived sometime in the spring of 2018, right?
Yes.
Okay. So with you being a few months pregnant, as you testified, it would be summer or fall of 2018, right?
I don't know, because we was in the tropics. In the tropics, the environment is literally the same all the time. So you're asking me if it's the fall. I can't. It's not compared. The environment in Central America is not the same environment in the United States.
Okay.
So if I'm going to jog my memory to figure out this timeline, I literally have to look at a calendar so that I can go back, because I had her 5 years ago.
Okay.
And so much is going on.
Okay. And you left in 2020, correct?
Yes.
What month?
November.
November 2020. All right. So in your testimony earlier was 3 or 4 times, or 4 times at least, that you managed to leave, and at least 10 times that you attempted to leave, right?
Yes.
That wasn't including those 4 times, right? There were 10 other times that you attempted to leave but just failed, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in 2017, you didn't try to leave based on that because there was no issues. In 2018, you haven't testified anything about trying to leave. So is the 14 times that you either attempted to leave or left were essentially in 2019, right?
No. In 2018, during my pregnancy, I attempted to leave in Belize. This was around the time I conceived, maybe 2 months.
Okay.
It failed. And then in January, or after January, after I had my baby, I obviously had more opportunities to leave. So that's when it started to get up in number.
Okay.
For me to leave.
But you didn't, in fact, actually leave until 2019, though, right? Once you had your child.
Y'all think he making his point? What he getting to, y'all? Let me know in the chat.
I left and then I came back.
Yeah.
The same day, I think.
Yeah, but you told us earlier under directed cross-examination that you left 4 times that would range from 2 to 3 months. So if you left 4 times that would range from 2 to 3 months, you weren't even there in 2019 for most of the year.
No, this is over a timeline. This is over a course of 3 years.
But you said that you didn't leave. You didn't leave in 2017. You didn't leave in 2018. So that only leaves 2019 and 2020. So if you're gone at least 4 times for 2 to 3 months over 2019 to 2020, you were gone for large portions of 2019 and 2020.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because if I'm there even for 3 months and I'm experiencing physical violence every day, how does that? What correlation does that have with me not being there for majority of the year? If I experienced domestic violence, I experienced it, whether it was 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days, or a month to a year.
Okay.
It happened.
All right. And you witnessed physical abuse within other people in the group as well, right?
I have witnessed physical abuse with other members in the group.
Lots of times, right?
No, just one time.
Just one time. So there's only one other time that you witnessed physical abuse in the entire group.
Yeah, with Malia or Tanisha DeLay.
Okay, that was Talia. Malia is who?
Tanisha
DeLay. Okay, where is she? Okay, Tanisha DeLay on the second.
How he don't know his clients?
Out of the 3 years that you were there, you were present the entire time. It was only one time that you witnessed physical abuse, and that was with Malia, who is Tanisha DeLay. That's it. No other physical abuse.
At one point in time, I heard. I didn't even somebody else said it.
Okay. We can't go on what other people say. So
well, I mean, it's
I'm asking
at this point if that's the case.
All right,
but yes.
Hold on, don't argue with them. Just answer the questions, okay?
So my question to you is, you witnessed it yourself one time over 3 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, you also didn't like the fact that he was in a polygamous relationship, right?
Correct.
Okay. It upset you that he wanted to be with other women.
No, it upset me that he wanted to sleep with me and he wanted to be with other women.
Okay. So you do agree at a prior hearing you testified that my issue was that he wanted to sleep with everybody.
Say that again.
My issue was that he wanted to sleep with everybody.
Yeah, and then come sleep with me. I didn't want him to feel like he can sleep with everybody and then come sleep with me.
Okay.
That's my problem. You can sleep with whoever you want to, but don't come try to sleep with me.
Okay.
And if you want to sleep with me, you can't sleep with everybody.
Okay. And that upsets you a whole bunch, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're still upset about that, right?
No.
Okay.
Because I'm not with him. I don't have to sleep with him or anybody else if I want to.
All right. Now, you also indicated that okay. In Atlanta in 2020, you were living here, correct?
No.
You didn't stay in Atlanta in 2020?
No.
Okay. When did you stay in Atlanta? Let me ask you a different question. Did you ever stay here in Atlanta in 2020?
I don't remember.
You don't remember
staying in Atlanta in 2020.
Okay. So do you ever remember staying with him in a house here in Atlanta in 2020?
I don't remember staying with him in a house in 2020, but I remember staying in Atlanta with him in a house. I don't remember what year it was though.
Okay. Who else was staying there then?
Tanisha, no, yeah, well, she had just first came. Tanisha DeLay had first came.
Mm-hmm.
Aya was there. Courtney was there. True was there. Loya was there. Pice, Kite, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, do you remember earlier you testified? I just asked you if you remember the people that were living here in Atlanta. And you gave me a list of people. And I guess I can repeat it back to you to make sure I'm not misquoting you before I ask you this. But Malia, who was the queen, right? Those are on the board right there. Malia, which is Tanisha DeLay, right?
Yep.
Aya.
Combination, yeah.
Aya.
Yes.
Courtney.
Yes.
Loyal.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
I can't remember if I wrote Pice or Kite. Kite?
Both.
There's somebody named Pice?
Kite.
Okay, there's a Pice and a Kite?
Yeah.
Okay. And this was all in 2020?
I don't remember that year.
Okay. Mr. Bishop was there?
Yes.
Right? Okay. And this was at some point you lived in the house in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It was two houses though. Is that right? Were there two houses?
Not to mine. It was one house that I ever stayed in Atlanta with Eligio Bishop.
Okay. So one house.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What about in 2018? Where were you living in? I think you said Texas, right?
Yeah, because we got deported from Costa Rica, and then we went to Texas. I don't remember how long we was living there, but it was no more than 3 or 4 months, probably even less. And then we traveled to Ohio, and we stayed on a college campus with somebody who he knew from there. We stayed there for maybe like 3 months maybe. And then we started traveling back to Central America. And we just traveled through many places until we landed in Mexico. Actually, we landed in Belize.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got pregnant in Belize. And then we started traveling about again to like many different places until we settled in Mexico at some point.
Okay. When did she
leave?
When did she live with you?
I remember her coming when, in 2017, I remember her when she came for like the 1-2 day thing. I don't remember any other time she was there until the incident that happened in 2020 when,
Where was that at?
this was in California.
In California. Okay.
Yes.
Not Mexico.
That was a separate occasion. Did she travel with us? I believe she traveled with us from California. Yeah, she did, because we was in California. We all traveled to Las Vegas. He made us get married.
So this would have been after the time y'all got married.
Excuse me?
This would have been after the time y'all got married?
This was before.
You just said he made y'all get married.
This was in the process. So
Wait, hold on, man.
mm-hmm.
So is this in the process? Is it before or after y'all got married?
She was with us before we got married.
Okay. So he made y'all get married in California in 2020 though?
No, Las Vegas, we got married.
Las Vegas. Okay, West Coast. Got married 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
So yes.
Yes.
Okay. Is that when you guys left California and went to Mexico or Vegas?
No. We traveled in a car from California to Las Vegas, and then we traveled to Mexico in a car.
Okay. All right.
Was with us at that time. We settled in Mexico, and she eventually left in Mexico.
She eventually left. Okay, so you guys met her in California. Y'all drove to Las Vegas where everybody got married.
I'm gonna let you finish answering the question.
Thank you. Y'all drove to Las Vegas where everybody got married and then drove to Mexico. Is that correct?
When I came back at that time, she was already there. And
already
yes,
where?
She was already in California. When I had came back, she had already been there. And then we started traveling together. And then we settled in Mexico together.
Where'd you come back from?
Louisiana.
Okay, how long had you been gone from Louisiana?
I'm not sure.
Give me a guesstimate.
I don't know.
A month, 2 months, a week?
I don't know. Or if you can give me some time to think about it, I'll think about it.
You still thinking?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say I was in Louisiana for no more than maybe 2 or 3 months. 3 months at the most.
2 or 3 months
at the
before.
least.
Okay. 2 or 3 months before you came to California, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then how long are you in California?
I don't know. I literally don't know.
Did y'all leave and go to Las Vegas right away, or was it something that you were there for a while?
No, it wasn't right away. It was a transition. Like,
it was a transition.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the time it was. It was never like we just like hopped up and left. We always traveled by car.
Okay.
The only times it was immediate, like a hop up and leave, was when we got deported and we had to fly. And when we went to Puerto Rico. But for the most part, we traveled by car. So it was drawn out of us getting to where we stayed long term.
Okay. And so you were in California on July 4th, though, right?
Yes.
You had to be that day, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's the day that you said that people got you in a circle and they beat you up.
Yes.
Right? Remember saying that?
Eligio Bishop beat me up. They didn't beat me up.
Okay. They didn't beat you up. All right. And so it was just him.
Yes.
Okay. And this was, he beat you up and then he asked you, did you want to go to the hospital, though, right?
Yes.
He offered you to take you to the hospital after beating you up.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And this was, I think, as you said, in a park, right?
Yes.
And no other people within the park witnessed it.
Not that I know of.
You're out there 45 minutes to an hour. Nobody witnesses 15 to 20 people in a park beating up a person.
Not that I know of. And nobody called the police. There's nobody Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if someone did or if they didn't. I just remember being in a circle.
Mhm. Okay. All right, almost done with you. Going to the 24th day of March 2022, you were not present in a house here in Atlanta at that time, were you?
No.
Okay. And I think you testified that on that date, you were not even in contact with Mr. Bishop at that time, right?
No.
But you did make a video with Solar where you commented on the believability of Miss, right?
I commented on the what?
The believability of.
The believability. Oh yes, yes I did.
Mhm. And you thought that she was a
Objection, hearsay, and
it's her side.
commenting on the credibility.
She can't comment on the credibility of another
Sure.
witness, counsel.
Sure.
Sustain the objection.
And you made that interview. I'm not going to ask you what you said, but you made that video with Courtney Townsend. So Solar, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because you and Courtney Townsend had online presence together, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You have.
You need to take your ass to the room, take a time out. Bitch, I ain't about to vibe with nobody in my front seat that ain't got no positivity.
Okay. And the child that is with Mr. Courtney Townsend, which is 3 months old.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, any redirect?
Can we approach briefly?
Yes.
All right. What do you think about the test?
I think this right here is why Eligio was a little hot. What was that? Yesterday and this rising, I think Velvet's testimony is what made him a little hot and bothered.
And the white lady's testimony.
Yes, because she really drove it home for Velvet's testimony.
The victims,
Mm-hmm.
spousal abuse, the manipulation tactics, the yes, you can leave, but I'm going to make it hell for you. I'm going to post flyers outside your job because I'm a psycho. Yeah.
Velvet, I think she played the game well. I don't think the prosecution prepped her. She did her own research as well on what makes a good witness on the stand because she was like, You're gonna have to allow me to think about it," which really drove home the next testimony who would have followed her, the domestic violence advocate, of, well, they don't really remember a lot of timelines and things get foggy and you can't remember one day to the next. Um, I I'm gonna put this on the record. I think Velvet is full of shit, but I do think what she said was honest and true because we witnessed most of it. But a lot of the things I was like, "Girl, you full of shit right now," because you were and Booker didn't do a very good job defending Eligio, with her. He didn't do a good job of that, and I think that's because he didn't do his research on their relationship within that dynamic. Because Booker coulda really drove it home, the quote unquote "dark side" of that witness, you know?
And I'm not. Yes, he really could have because we just watched a video the other day last week on Mama where Bishop was screaming, "If I go down, I'm taking you down with me."
Mm-hmm.
So, what happened to that energy? But you know what? I'm not mad at it. I'm going to take it for what it is. Again, being a juror's perspective, mm, I, I don't know. She did okay. I think she might have earned some points for the victim.
I think she earned some points. I think as a juror's perspective, and that's what I wrote down at the end of this one, not the other one, is that if I was a juror, she does, and there's some men on there. She does kind of give off bitter baby mama vibes. You know, she gives off the
That's what
hostile.
yes. Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm. All he wanted to do was have sex with other women. That's what she really honed in on, and for me as a juror, that would be like, but what's it? I don't know. I don't know. That's why I said the chat asked earlier, and I think at this point it's a coin toss. For me anyways, it's a coin toss.
Yeah.
Be
I don't know.
But we have Mr. Bishop's police interview as well. And they
Mhm.
played that in court. They didn't play the victim's initial police statement in court, so we don't have that. We'd have to, shimmy shake and get that. And that's another thing he was complaining about, you know. They're playing him but not her, and it's a setup.
Mhm.
It's a setup. But the lady justice is supposed to be blind with balancing scales
And a double-edged sword.
and a double-edged sword.
Okay, before we get into this, y'all, I don't know what this audio's like. I haven't listened to this. It says it's 45 minutes long. This is when you see there is captions up here for y'all. So you might want to look at your screen. I have not heard this. So I don't know what we about to listen to, and I don't know how good the audio is. This is from where? This is from TV Killer Unbiased. I gave it a thumbs up. TV Killer Unbiased. This is from their channel.
It's documented, it's out. Everybody's son agreed. But let's get through this real quick. Eligio? Yes, sir. And Bishop? Yeah, yes, sir. What's your birthday, sir? 429 is. This is crazy because I know about the girl saying I'm revenge porn, but that's just silly because I have the whole video of her consenting. Like I literally have the video in my phone. Like we plan to do sex education for black people to show them what we learned through physicality. So literally, she's got the video, like, so come on, bro. Like, we're not even that kind of vibe. None of the people around are on that kind of vibe. Like, we're not even those kind of people. Yeah, so I said, Malia, be back because Malia got a little attitude problem. She thinks she a gangster. She thinks she a little thug. So she said, I said, why you telling me that? They're not ours. They're not ours. I'm not against the cops. I'm public. Okay, what's your name? Contact them for you. 939-349-1718. Just know I'm innocent, man. I'm innocent. Like, I want you to know that. And I want you to feel my heart right now. Okay. I did not rape anyone, man. I wouldn't. Honestly, I did more. She did that as a victim, right? Okay, so real quick, because I want you to talk, but I can't listen to you unless you, I need you to license you to talk to me. I don't want my words to be turned on me, or I'm scared at this point because what's being said about me is falsely advertised, bro. Like I really honestly on my daughter's life, bro. I did not rape anybody. So let's just go through that real quick. Okay. You can now worry about it. Okay, but look, if you gonna have an attorney though, I mean you have the right. I'm gonna have to get an attorney because this is wrong. And that's what we're gonna go through with you. Okay, I'm gonna sign. And it's just so that at the end you can state that you don't want to talk now because you want to get an attorney. No. I just want you guys not to talk for myself. Okay. because I'm an innocent man.
Okay, well, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
But we gotta let you know all these rights that you have.
Okay, these are my Mirandas.
First, okay, you can, this is silly.
You getting set up early. That's all. I will, whatever, the universe, if you want me in jail, fine, I'm not surrendering, I'm a surrender to the moment. This is probably the universe just putting me in a situation to try me, all right, whatever, okay, whatever, like, all I know is I didn't break anybody, bro, okay, I would never do that, bro, okay, and I didn't do no revenge for it.
Let's just get through this.
Okay, you can read my English, obviously, right? Right. Initial, just put your initial for me. Okay, you got the influence of alcohol or drugs. Okay, initial, the influence of high school and education. Like 12, 14, you know.
I did 12, but, I did barbers for my outside barbers.
Initial, I did for you.
Mhm.
Okay, you're right, so you have the right to remain silent, you understand that, right? Okay, initial one, please. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court of law, you understand that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you have any questions. Okay, you understand that? If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, we'll appoint to represent you for the question if you wish. And you may exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Okay, and this lawyer says, I've read all these rights and you understand all of them.
Am I being set up,
Well, no, I mean, when you're here to tell us that you didn't do it, I mean, we can't make you say you did.
No, but
We're telling you to set up.
If you're a detective, you get detect when somebody's lying, you feel my heart. I did not, I did.
So real quick, understanding these rights, what's the above, maybe you should talk to us. At this time, if you want to talk to us, initially, yes, if you don't, then.
Yeah, if you want to have an attorney, you can do that. Please.
If you want to, okay, this is per your right.
I have nothing to hide.
Okay, then if you want to talk to us, initially, yes, and then sign below.
But just so verbally, you understand your rights and you do want to talk to us right now.
I appreciate this, because I don't want to do the right thing, and I don't know what's gonna do. I got you, you just need to trust the universe, whatever, I'll talk to you. I'm just trying to, I don't have anything to hide, Mom. Listen, if I go behind bars as an innocent man, like, God wants me there, so I'm gonna be there. But I didn't do it, You understand? So, whatever is going on here, like, I'll talk to you. I don't know what you guys want me to say, or I'm just telling you.
Okay, now, you initially said you refused, but now what are you saying? Because it's got, you got to verbally say to talk to us. You said, I'm going to have to refuse. To talk.
Can I start talking anytime? Yeah, I'll talk.
Okay.
Sign up, refuse.
You're being accused, what I'm saying.
That's ridiculous. This is crazy.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so.
This is beyond crazy, like, crazy.
What do you think, okay, obviously, you know this is because you're being accused of rape, okay? What do you know about it? Who do you think did it?
Who do you think it could have been?
Only some manipulative woman that's trying to get me back for something, for probably not trying to be with her or something. But literally, I wouldn't rape anyone. I got all these women, those all my women. Why would I rape someone? I got like 5 women. Why would I rape a girl? I'm a ladies' man. I got like 5, 6 women. I'm gonna rape a girl for. They come to me.
Why would anybody accuse you of that?
Because they mad at me. There's a lot of people that hate me around me. I have a lot of trolls. She sent me a letter, said with a court date, Jeanette.
Look for what?
For revenge woman.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, she sent me that letter. She sent me the letter.
And it was signed by who?
It was just a court hearing that I had to go to see if she could get the warrant. She put a warrant out.
She applied for a warrant?
Yeah. And so I have to go to the hearing on, I think the 18th or something, a hearing or something, just to see if she can get the warrant. So I was like, oh, that's simple, because I didn't do anything wrong. So I was like, I have the video, I got everything. We got everything ready for the files, ready to show that that's not true. But she knows it's not true. And we're spiritual people. So it's like, to me, it hurts me because I'm like, there's no harm in my people. But then I think that like maybe the universe just wants me to be who I'm supposed to be. And so I will surrender. But I'm being falsely accused, but you know what I'm saying? So
So let's start with revenge porn. You saying you have some consent form or what?
No, I have a video showing how we did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when she's incomplete, she's like literally going to the spiritual journey. It's a spiritual video, like showing that the vagina, but like, it was really like an educational thing, right? And so I have a whole footage, like literally, like, and when she left, she was mad. And then she just flipped on me and said, revenge porn. Because what happened was, on my Twitter, when she left, I thought she wanted to leave. I was like, oh, why? So when she left, it was still on Twitter. So she said, she didn't ask me, she didn't call me and say, can you take that down? Because we did that together, you take that down. She didn't do that. She just said revenge porn. And I know it's my haters, you know, saying, you should get on this. They're literally doing everything they can to put me in jail.
Explain, okay, the allegations of the rape, okay? She said that, she wanted to leave, or no. She said that, you were upset at the face she made, and you started having these girls hit her. And so that she finally had enough, she said, I want to leave. And so I think she said, you want to leave, and so she packed her stuff up, I think whatever she could, she went over to Uber, and Uber was outside. As she was getting ready to walk outside, one of the girls said, hey, you want to say goodbye to her. He goes upstairs to see you, and then you end up cornering her and start making out with her. I'm telling you what she's saying.
This is my girl. She got my name on her body. I was literally like, everybody knows me or thing. I would have to rape my girl. Like, she's my girl. Like, she's saying that shit. That ain't nothing to play with. That ain't even nothing to play with.
I'm telling you, this is what she's accused of.
What I'm saying to you is, that's not even nothing to play with. It's a video. We just born together. Bro, everybody in the world knew. Look, bring the TSA, so she came to me. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I just can't look at her eyes and just be like, bro, you really gonna put me in jail for it, right? And I feel like, I feel like,
and she claimed that you wouldn't let her leave, and that you said that you were her property, and then
I was there. I protected him like that. I said, you my property. I love you. You my property. I was telling him, I got my name on it, but all my women. And I tell him that because I love him. I protect him more than you my property. I love you. And that's to make them feel like, okay, I'm wanted in the world. But not to make them feel like, but she wasn't doing this because she had to leave. The only reason why she had to leave is because she was mad. If she didn't get attention from the girl. It's all my video. We have the video where I'm saying, I came here because Baba G said, man, he healed me. I got all of it. I have everything. Because when I seen that letter, I said, make sure y'all get all the evidence. And I was like, cool, I'm straight. And you go for her.
So you got a file of evidence?
I got a file. I have a whole file ready right now with the evidence.
Where is it?
The guys got it. You can call the guys that's pretty to you right now.
Is it on the laptops?
No, it's on my cell phone.
On your cell phone?
Yeah, I got it on my cell phone. I can open my cell phone right now and show you it.
And what it will show you?
It'll show you the edge. Like, I want to show you. Can I show you?
Do you have a phone here?
Did
your phone come with you?
No, whatever. I don't know where my phone is at, and I don't know where none of my stuff is at. What I know is that I have all the videos. I literally have all the videos.
Okay, so you made these educational videos. Did you tell her when you were going to post them?
No, we posted them right there. We posted them together.
You posted them?
We were like happy about it. She's crying in the video, like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, in the video, you see it. Like, dude, we had sex. I don't have to rape her. We had twosome, threesomes, all, like, bro, we do. This is what we do. This is what we do. We do sexual education. I have all that evidence. I have evidence of her just saying, literally, she came to my house. And she's like, oh, he healed me. Some issues with prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
She's out there in the streets.
Mm-hmm. So
when she comes to me, I treat her like a lady. I say, you don't have to do that stuff. Like, literally, when you come to me, you're my woman, you're my wife. You're not a prostitute, you're not able to do that. You should sell yourself for money. And she's crying out, and she has to go back to the streets. But then, like, I think that the dude that she was with, he got the better, he probably told her to do it. I don't know what's going on, but I got the evidence, bro. I say it all my file. Because one thing I do is to lie about everything. I'm on live all day, every day, because I know people trying to set me up. So I have everything documented.
But you got a lot of negative stuff on it.
Absolutely, because when I put stuff out, I have a group of people that don't like me. Mm-hmm. And they go hard. They're gonna go hard. That's what they do. But that's actually promoting me. So what I'm saying is, and I guess this is part of the territory. But what I'm saying to you is this, I got all the evidence to show that that's not real. Straight up right now. And I can have my guy send it to you. Like literally right now.
And what I was trying to tell some of the folks here is, a lot of this, they say it's a lot of acting.
It's acting like what we're doing is a documentary. So basically, look, if you don't know who I am, my name is Eligio Boy. I am a spiritual teacher. I teach about nature and getting in tune with nature and living by nature in the jungle. That's what I teach. People don't listen to me. So I do radical things to get their attention so they can be like, so I can be like, who the hell is this guy? And that's what we do on the internet now. We do cloud chasing. So we be smacking each other. We all agree to like, all right, this is what we want to get attention. We literally sit down and plan it out and literally we're doing a documentary right now. So instead of me saying, so I teach about the number 3, 369, Nikola Tesla, and I teach about binary code. Black people don't care about that stuff, so I have to get their attention. White people love it. Black people, they be like, they don't care about that. So what do? I do things to get black people's attention. So what gets attention is drama. And so we create drama. We create drama scenes. For people, they love it, they feel, black people feel drama. Psychologically, I don't know why, but it's their attention. And I feel like black people don't have a spiritual rule at all. And I feel like I'm that person. I feel like I'm their way into spirituality because, I feel like Sadhguru, I feel like I was going to become Sadhguru for black people, for like people poverty, like people in poverty, so they can get spirituality. But my approach is a more aggressive, because that's what the streets is doing. But I want them to understand there's love, and I want them to understand there's education. If you look at my content, I'm always teaching them to food for themselves, grow your own food, be healthy with the earth. That's what I'm teaching here. My heart is completely pure. I would never rape a girl because at the end of the day, I'm a fucking leader. My name is Nature Boy. If I rape a girl.
So what about the guys there that and the girls that claim that you are God?
I am God. I believe I'm God. I do. I believe that I'm God. I believe we're God. I believe everything is connected. I believe that you're God. I believe that the way I treat you is how I treat God. I believe you don't treat God, you don't praise an invisible God, we praise each other. The way I treat you is how I treat God. I don't put God in my mind. I put God as you. And I love you as I love God. And my relationship with you is my relationship with God. We're God. We're all one. We're one earth, one source. We all breathe in the same air on this one rock in the middle of nowhere, flying into the dimensions of the abyss of darkness. We're all in this one rock together. And we gotta get along. This is what I'm teaching. We can't keep fighting. And black people don't want to hear this. They don't, but I've been breaking through. I've been breaking, see that, all that I have right now, that's gonna be on the news. That's gonna be my name on the news. Like, nation's on the news. So I'm looking at this like, okay, cool, this is good. This is what I need. I need press to get people to listen to me. Because they keep taking it as a joke. I'm telling them mathematics of the universe. I'm saying, listen, we need to eat this food, we need to get this much sunlight, we need to get out the hood, put the guns away. This is what we need to do. Because we keep ending up behind bars. So we have to let them tune with the land. And this is my message to the people.
But all they're getting is,
no.
This is what I'm telling you. What you do.
Because there's going to be haters. And that's some big. Because I love them.
But don't you think it's kind of contradictory to be teaching love? You're saying teaching love and then commanding people to smack each other?
No, because at the end of the day, it gets attention. People are going to look at it because we smack each other. And it's just how we are.
Is that a bad thing? To smack each other?
No. Not ever. It's a joke. Like, we're doing it.
I don't see it as a joke.
No, that's what I'm saying. Their perception of what we're doing is to get us response like we did. That's the point. So that people start talking about me. So that
Wouldn't that give you the reverse of what you're trying to do?
no, because we'll be depressed. Like right now, if I leave here and I get bailed out, the depression's gonna be there, and then I'm gonna be able to teach black people, and I'm gonna be able to say, listen, what I was doing is this, and this is what I'm doing. That's my art. This is my art. And I have critics. I have people that are worried if this is real, if it's not real. That's why I'm like, okay, let the police investigate to see that it's nothing harmful in life.
But we're seeing, based on your videos, a pattern of behavior.
Right.
And we have somebody come along that says, you wouldn't let me leave, you told me I was gonna stay here, and you're gonna have sex with me when I want you. How do we take that?
Okay, this is how you take it. Watch the video. Just look at it, bro.
What video?
I have the video on my phone. I've like 6, 7 videos of the educational video with me. When you see the video with me,
We're not talking about the revenge porn, we're talking about rape, we're talking about when she tried to leave.
No. What I'm saying to you is, why would I need to rape her if I myself was, or this is my girl, why would I rape her? And then she left in the middle, she just left.
First of all, she had to leave.
No, this is what happened. Let me tell you exactly what happened. Okay. When I'm in the room, I'm in the hallway, she on the boom, you know, this is my girl. She's about to leave because she's angry. She's emotional. She's emotional because we're doing what she could be. Get this together. She's like, I give up. I don't want to do this no more. And, you know, so I'm going to take, chill out. You don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I hugged her. And when she's like, no. And I'm like, babe, you know how it is. Like, it wasn't no, stop. No, I would never. It was like, you know, babe, chill out. And she's like, okay. And she texted her. She was like, all right. But then after we made love right there, she was like, when she went in the room, we made love. It was no rape, son. It was no forced entry. There was no rape at all.
That's what she's claiming.
But that's what I'm saying to you. That is a setup. That is wrong. And that's what I'm saying to you, sir. I did not rape.
But if we see a pattern of behavior based on your videos.
What, raping?
Not raping, but I mean domineering.
Aggressive?
Dominant.
I'm an aggressive man. I am a man-eating warrior. I am a chief. Is there something wrong with that? No, but that's my pride. That's my ego. I can be manly. I can be aggressive. That's my art.
Okay, but what if somebody tells an aggressive guy like you know?
No.
And then the aggressive guy says you don't say no to me.
No. See, I know that's what it looks like, and that's the figure of the black male, right? And the black male's supposed to be like this, and if he's not like that, he's going to be offensive to people. Stop that, okay? I'm a man. I can be as aggressive as I want, as I'm my warrior at all. Doesn't mean that I'm not gentle. You can feel I'm a gentleman. You can feel I'm a loving being. I'm not a gangster or anything like that. Online, people know me. If you watch me, I'm sweet. I literally suck my thumb online and put it in my ear. Like I literally am a sweet guy. Like I would never harm her. And I could see her face.
Explain then what was she upset about at the time that she wanted to leave?
She was upset because she couldn't make it. She couldn't make it. Well, let me see. I'm trying to figure it out because it was real fast. So okay. Fuck, it was gonna be over. We had smack again. If you like someone, you get smacked. Okay, we agreed to that. She got smacked.
What do you mean by out of tune?
Like, say if we're doing something, sometimes when I'm teaching, people get stuck with him. And so we have to get them like, we're gonna do that, we're gonna smack each other and get each other, we're like, what's us? You know what I'm saying? So she had got smacked, but she smacked somebody before. But she got smacked, she left. So she like, I'm done. I was like, okay. Well, okay, so I ain't no time for this shit, because you already know what we want. And you like, oh, I don't want to do this no more. I'm like, okay. So I went upstairs and talked to her. That's it. You know, damn, she goes back and forth. She comes when she wants. She leaves when she wants. Everybody knows this dog. Everybody knows how to get out of my life. When she's doing bad, she'll call me. But I think at this time, she felt embarrassed because online, she went to everybody here. She said I raped her bro.
Let me ask, what if, let's say you have,
I'm assuming woman, bro.
Yeah, I get that.
And I'm gonna show you videos where me and her have a relationship. We have sex with her. Like, there's no reason to rape somebody that you have sex with.
We're not saying that she didn't consent before then.
Huh?
We didn't say that she didn't consent before then.
No.
People say consent.
No, what I'm saying to you is, I would never jeopardize my career. I would never jeopardize what I'm doing. I work so hard.
Yeah.
I would never jeopardize that. She literally came in the room after and went to bed with us, like we was all together, like literally. For her to say she raped me was like, that's foul. That's foul. That's foul.
That's what she said. She said that she didn't want it and she wanted to leave. She said, "Hey, we don't know where to my property." And
It was not that tone. It was not that tone. It was like, stop playing. What the hell you about to do? You know you my property. You got my name on your ass. Girl, you fine.
But that's just telling you right, so
Not like, not like, oh, you can't leave. Oh, no. I'm afraid that everybody knows. I tell them to get the fuck out. Get out now. Get out. I tell them, no, you want to go? Why? Because I know I'm on live all the time. I have everything on live. And I say, look, go. Because I ain't got no time for the drama. But for her to say I raped her, no, that's just, I can't believe she would say that. You know what I'm saying? That's just, it's beyond me. Like, I'm thinking like, okay, rape and prostitute.
what about what was that doing, Malia? We saw a video where she tried to leave.
Oh, no, Malia, she get aggressive. She's aggressive. I know she's aggressive with y'all. She's got an attitude. She get like that. I was not letting her take my house up. I was literally stopping her from, I let her go. You seen the video? I said, go ahead. And she went out like she broke my property. And went down the block. And then you see, I was like, I closed the door, let her go down the block. Then she told me to see. I saw the blood, girl, just making sure she walked down the block, cool off. So they put you there on the block. She going crazy. Nah, but that's Malia, that's my girl. That's how she is. And then later on she came back. And we together. That's how. I'm sorry. This woman is very aggressive. That's how she operates. I'm the woman, bro. But at the end of the day, she's aggressive. So she gets mad, she snaps, bro. She got absolute. You're not tearing my house. I literally got away to make sure she wasn't going to tear my house up. And I said, all right, go. Because I'm on live with it. I made sure I did it live, but I'm not going to let her. I know she'll tear everything in my house up. I'm not going to let her tear my house up. So you can go to her ID. You watch the video, I say, get her ID, and give her ID, and let her go. That's what I said, and that's what I said to her. And she went up, and when she starts to get aggressive, the girls was like, all right, no. Went out there in the video and tried and pushed the fight. So you see the series where she was with all of what was going on. So lying on me, literally lying on me, bro. And it's like, you know what? It's like, no way to really prove it because it's her word against mine. And it's like, I got videos of us making, like,
But this is like I said, if you can put on shows and performances that makes you look like a domineering guy that, you know, is in charge of everybody else.
Right.
And everybody that you call it.
I'm sorry for that, I get it. What I'm saying to you, that when you really look closer, you do the investigation and detective, you realize it's acting, it's not critical. I'm not an aggressive guy. I'm you know what I'm saying, I'm smart, I'm a leader, but I'm not an aggressive guy in real life. You can feel that. Feel my energy with your heart, you're a detective. You guys are supposed to be able to detect danger or anything in somebody that you feel. Like, you can't tell me I'm an aggressive guy.
Well, now
online, I go to a state and it's my heart.
if that's all I see you online.
When everyone's telling you that I am not like that, it's a documentary. This is my heart. Look at my work. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm just doing something new. I can't keep doing the same thing over and over with the same views. I did stuff to get attention. I'm doing stuff to get attention. It's clear. I got 3 on my face. I'm literally like, yo, it's the 3 guy. Like, I'm literally like acting like just to get people to watch so I can slip in the knowledge.
We're getting no complaint of knowledge. We're getting complaint.
I got a lot of.
I mean, you might be saying a lot of knowledge, but do you think they're paying attention to that? Like they can watch the other shit?
Yes, because what I'm doing is more subliminal, and some people are catching it. They're like, well, so what happens is because I'm doing that, people be like, well, we want to do an interview with you. Can we do an interview with the 3 guys? Now everybody want to do an interview with the 3 guys. When I was nation, nobody wanted to talk to me. But everybody wants to do it with the villain. I become a villain, a bad guy, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to interview the bad guy.
Doesn't that seem like it's a bad thing?
but it's a tactic, and it's what we plan. We seen what people are attracted to that we're talking to. It's like you see your cousin and you go to the market, you're like, okay, this is how we market to the people you want to market to. And we figured it out, and I just mastered it, and now I'm like, what I'm doing right now, if it got this attention, it helps. And I know it's bad attention, but all press is good press. And for me, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna beat this. Because at the end of the day, everybody knows I would never do that to the chick. Everybody knows, like the people that follow me, they know it. Like the people around me are sweet. They are sweet people. We're angels. You can feel that we're like, I used to be in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I changed my life because I had a spiritual awakening. Literally left my body, like, and it changed my whole life. And because of that, I literally changed my whole life around, bro. And I became really spiritual when I went out to the jungle. I left my barbershop, I left my wife, my kids, and I literally went to Costa Rica. And I'm on the top of a mountain, screaming to black people, like, we gotta get into nature. Eat healthy, be righteous. You know, how you're not back out in nature? Okay, because I got the quarterback here to sing it to you, and now it's good. I'm inside my house. I'm eating that inside my house, and I'm about to come outside. I was about to come outside. You see videos of me, it's all funny. Like sometimes I do like a gay person, and I'll do like splits and like it's just my personality. I know I'm a good actor. People are like, bro, you need to act. I'm like, the people that get it, they're like, bro, yeah, it's good. And I was like, because I just, it's my heart, man. This is my heart, and it's one thing she's doing that for. She's doing it because we're attention. She wants the attention. But when people find out that she literally said I raped her, that's not gonna be good for her. Because people gonna be like, bro, now come on, bro. Really? They're gonna be like, really? And I'm gonna be able to prove all that. That ain't gonna stay. Like I can prove all that. Like I'm not even worried about revenge porn. I'm not worried about that. Assault on who? On who? On what? I didn't assault anybody. We all agreed to, the tapping and, nobody get charged for that. No, I'm saying, what is the assault for? It's a rape. Oh, the assault is rape. Okay, see, I'm clear on that. On my heart, on God, out of the universe. I know the universe wouldn't even do me like that. Because I ain't that kind of person. It'd be foul for that. If the universe did me like that, I'd be like, okay, I must have to go to prison and teach guys in prison. Because it's no way. But they don't really want to do that, do you? No, what, go to teach guys in prison? Yeah. I would be the spiritual guru that, like this. Like, I'll be with my shirt over myself like this, and they'll be like, yo, bro, what you want? I'm going to teach no matter where I go, because I want people, I just want my people to stop being so ignorant. God damn, we're so ignorant. Bro, I'm tired of this, bro. And I literally will do anything to get them to listen to me. And I got their attention now. I got their attention now, bro. This right here, I was like, oh my God. Helicopters, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, it's working. And we had nothing. And we sitting there like, they're going to come in, they're going to check, they're going to see you out here. We got no weapons, we got no drugs. And they're going to see that this is all, what we did. We did this. We got the press. We got the attention we need. Now people know that we're innocent, and they will know like, oh, okay. Well, they just sent the police. It's people pulled up to the house that were our supporters, and they were like, man, this is messed up. This is because they know what's going on. And I know you guys don't have time to watch it, but I want you to. I'll bring it whatever, because you give me a warrant paper. I'm coming with a lawyer, because I'm like, yo, you playing with my life. And like you doing this to be vindictive, and I never thought she would do this to me. Which I feel like some of my haters put a battery in her back, like, yeah, go ahead, you know what I mean? Go ahead, say that, do that. So what all is on your phone that would help me? Oh my goodness. I got everything documented. One thing I do is say like, everything recorded everything, bro. And here's the thing, come here and look me in my eyes and say I read it. She couldn't do it. She's literally doing this because she wants to touch me or take me down, or I don't know what I think. There's a couple of girls that hate me. I'm trying to pay attention to the hate, but there's a couple of girls that I know that really don't like me. And And they always send me text messages, you're going to jail. And I'll be like, whatever, you don't know. But you know.
So, okay, so do this then. Give me the code to your cell phone so we can get in there and look at these fucking videos.
Right. Okay, so but look, let me do that. Because, you know what I'm saying, I don't want anything planned or, you know what I'm saying, like in front of you, I can show you it right there in front of you. You know what I'm saying, so that you can see it. Like instead of like,
I don't know if we have.
I'll be set up right now, bro. Okay. No, look, you have evidence.
We're not trying to set you up, we're trying to find the evidence that you're saying
If you
exists.
have evidence,
That can show that.
I can give you that evidence, but to just give you my phone, not knowing what that might, you know.
I'm gonna let you know right now, if your phone's at the house, we already have it.
Okay, we're not gonna plan nothing.
We're not here.
You know, if I'm being accused of rape right now, I'm in danger.
Okay, but if you have evidence that's gonna help you in the phone, we wanna see that evidence.
But I'm not trying to like.
We're not gonna go through it without your permission. What we're doing is getting the code from you, and then we'll get the search warrant to go through your phone, and then we'll get that evidence to support the things you're saying. We're not planting anything on there, we're
Why
not.
can't they just bring my phone here?
We don't give you back your phone once we seize it in a search warrant, okay?
Why?
No, not until the whole investigation is done. That's why I'm telling you, I'm trying to give you advice right now.
What?
And if it's been seized per that search warrant, and you got evidence on there, we're gonna go through that phone probably anyways, okay?
You're gonna see it anyway.
But if you can give us the passcode, it's just gonna speed up our process.
Alright, so, let me see. That's not mine. I don't want anything planted.
We don't plant
I am hiding, and that's a whole bunch of stuff in there. I just have, you got, I don't give a shit about it. It should be all in there, but nigga, like literally, like we're doing art, nigga, like.
Okay, that may help you.
Okay, what? I can't believe it. This is crazy. This is seriously crazy. Like, I see, you see my cell phone. What?
There's evidence in there.
It's in there.
There's evidence in
There's evidence in
No,
there.
what I'm saying is I didn't know y'all seized out properties like that.
That was what the search warrant was for.
For.
Seizing property and take pictures of your house.
Look, if there's something in there
Can I get a
that.
search warrant?
There's gonna be a copy at the house.
It's
That was
the
gonna be
seized, it's the seized.
to
Yes,
seize
we're gonna
items.
give you a copy of the search
So I
warrant.
have no cell phones?
Probably not. If they were in the house, we probably got them.
Really?
But, I mean, like I said, we can go through it and look at what we did today, but it could be tomorrow. And if there's evidence in there suggesting that you didn't do that, then that would be a very fucking quick, turnaround.
Okay, but how would you know where to look?
I don't know, I mean, tell us where to look.
You can't bring the cell phone here and let me show you?
No, we don't have that, it's probably in the property room or the crime scene unit right now.
Crime scene?
That's,
They just document.
that's how we do all the search warrants, it's just nothing special, but every one of them, they're handled like that.
Right, alright, so, that's crazy. And I'm not trying to get set up, though. I don't want nobody planting no stuff.
We're not gonna be doing that though. We're not here to get you hemmed up. We're
Well,
not.
why are you talking rape? This is, I know she said it, but it's like,
We have to go based off of.
yeah, it's like, it's far from the truth.
Mhm.
And it's like,
But if you got truth to tell us, we're trying to give you advice on how we
I
can
just told you I have it in my phone, but if I got my phone, then,
but we can give us a passcode, that speeds us up.
so we can just.
But we're not gonna go through it until we get a search warrant for it, we got a search warrant to seize it, and we get a search warrant to look through it, okay? It won't be gone through until,
And after you search it, you're gonna search on the property?
once the full investigation is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna keep it.
How long is the investigation?
I don't know.
It depends on everything that comes with this, it depends on.
You guys got my passport too, did you see my passport?
Yes.
You'll get,
Yeah, you need your passport.
Yo, dude, outside of this, as a human being, what do you feel? That you're a detective, you can do this all.
26 years.
26 years, and you,
Well, not as long as him.
okay, but you're a detective, bro. You dealt with people. What do you feel?
Well, you're the first guy, like yourself that I've ever dealt with. So, like I said, I mean, when I see all these videos, so,
I like stuff like that. I like the technology.
but you know, like I said, I mean, I guess maybe I'm conflicted, right? You seem like a nice guy, but in person, but in a video, asking them blah, blah, blah.
Right, so did you have to arrest him? Was anybody hurt?
No.
Was anybody harmed? Did it seem like anybody was in danger? You're a detective. So this all seems like a lie, right? I mean, thus far, in all the things that you heard, it's now that you're here, now that you met everyone, now that you feel the energy, is it a lie?
No, it's
Come on, it's not true. It's not true, you know it.
No. I mean,
No, I'm just saying, like, from what you heard, okay, the videos, good. What you heard and what you felt as you investigated and went further, you can tell that's not going on.
no, not necessarily. Really, just like a conversation.
But I'm live all the time. Like, I'm literally.
I help
Helpful for you.
It's not helpful for me, but I didn't commit any crimes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a bad, like, there's a lot of rappers that portray to be bad guys and stuff like that, but it's freedom of speech, it's freedom of, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, okay, I see it looks like that, but then you don't just make me that, because it looks like it, that's what the detective's for. The detective's for us to go a little deeper and make sure that it's not.
Okay, but what you said, looking deeper would be in your phone, that's one thing. I didn't bring up looking at your phone. You brought
I
up.
have nothing to hide.
Okay.
I will give you the password to my phone and all the other phones, they all got the same passwords.
Okay, that's gonna be helpful in cooperation.
Okay, what I'm saying to you is that I just don't want to plant it in my phone because of my figure and what I feel.
We don't have any association with your figure. We didn't know about you before any of this. You were not involved in any of our
Why
lives.
would we want to plan? I mean,
This will make the job easier.
Well, then, yeah, this will make the job easier.
Okay, so when you go on the phone, you could find
what is it? Okay, if we go on the phone, where are we gonna be looking at? Pictures, videos? Videos.
If you scroll up the videos, it's recent, you're gonna see them. They like right there.
And what are we gonna see that's gonna,
You're gonna see a whole bunch of videos of me and all the girls doing sexual that you can see, and you're gonna be seeing her like, oh my God, I love this. This is so beautiful. You know me. You're gonna see her say that. That's what you're gonna see. And then you're gonna be like, wait a minute. Like, oh, then he turns around and rapes you.
what is the most recent video you think of her with you?
So a woman could just say you raped her and that's it. Just because I'm portrayed to be a bad guy in the media?
No, I'm not saying that.
And I want to know if this was going on. Like, okay, I raped you. And what? How do you prove that? How did she prove I raped her when I got so much evidence of us fucking freely? I'm trying to understand from a logical sense. Okay, someone can just say that I raped them and because I have a bad image online, I go to jail. That's crazy. That means women would do that every day, all day. This woman is addicted. What I'm saying to you is this, I have a lot of them all going on. Like, what do I need to rape a woman for when I'm the ladies' man? I'm the ladies' man. I get so much, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to do that.
But what if they decide one day to go against you?
No, you gotta go. You go against me, get out. Because you're a problem. That's how we deal with you. Get out. Immediate. That's what I told her. Get out. And I know that she didn't want to leave. I know.
Why did she leave?
That's the question. Because I feel like she's been talking to somebody before. I would look. With me, it's like people coming up. I'm open to the public. Literally. Like, my address is public. So that means anyone that needs help can come. Okay, I get all kinds of crazy people that come. I don't know it outside of me trying to help her. She came to me I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm open to the public. Anybody can come to my house and receive love. And I loved her. And I never harmed her. Ever. And that's exactly who I am. My heart is open to the public. My home, I went on a time. I flew people to Costa Rica just so they could taste the water. I'm interested in helping people through what I'm doing. And I'm saying to you this. And then we're gonna get you didn't give us the past. 8116. That's all of our homes. Look through all of them. And you see some section, it was consensual. Yeah, I'm sure. That's my social security, that's my form, my social security, that's the password to everything. When you password the laptops, we have nothing to hide. All right, let me go talk with the supervisor. I'm down here now.
You said left. When did you leave?
She left that night, I mean, the next night. She left that like, first of all, she called a friend.
Yeah.
See, now I'm feeling scared, because I feel like you got that and
No. We've been here for a while.
I can trust you.
Well, what do you mean by trust me?
Like, you're not gonna plant nothing in my life.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's.
No, because what she's doing, making me think like that, like I'm being set up. Like, bro, she gotta prove that I raped her, bro. Like, that's crazy. I got mad evidence in my phone. You can look at it, that's a pen. You can go look in the phone, bro. I'm honest, man. I'm an open person. My house is open. Everything's open about me. I'm online. I am an open guy. What?
Okay, we're
serious man. She left the next day, like, until like upper Delta. Because people in and out of my house.
When was that?
Like a weekend, 2 weeks ago, and she looked online. She took a picture online with her ex-boyfriend with a pen cup in his hand, talking about we are not the same. And you're gonna see the phone too. You're gonna see her on the phone. I saved the picture. He's like this with a pen cup because he's a PIMP, and that's what he does with her. He put prostitutes her. That ain't no snitching. I ain't about to talk about all that because they ain't my business, and that's not what I do. So she has a copy, and she pops back up on him and shows it a lot like, oh yeah, and everybody's like, it was Jerry bouncing around. Listen, when they find out she tried to rape the whole, you gonna see all this water, right? You gonna see the people like, I got a lot of hate, I got a lot of people that's gonna come through me. You know what I'm saying? Like, as much as hate as I got, you don't know the people that love me.
Okay, I'm not gonna deny that.
All right, Detective Panozzi, just a couple of questions. After you finished your complete investigation, did you obtain arrest warrants for Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
And did that conclude your involvement in this case?
Yes.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you, Detective.
Hey, yo, if you enjoy this content.
Wow.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got evidence, all right.
What a fucking shit show.
Why did I didn't choose this cult, okay?
The
Someone I
cult
loved chose this cult. And here I am. Okay,
that was a lot.
if he takes the stand, that's what he's gonna sound like.
Period. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, now it's oh gosh, now I have to.
Yeah, if he takes the stand, that's exactly. He may tone down on the whole, that's my woman type of thing. Uh,
Mhm.
Since he's been hearing, because he, with his art of manipulation, he might have the upper hand because he listened to the cult expert explain what a cult is. He listened
Mhm.
to the domestic violence expert explain a dominant, controlling type of situation.
Mhm.
So we know Eligio. He'll try to manipulate his way with the jury because he was trying in that interrogation room, honey. He thought
Mhm.
he was back in Nicaragua and he could just tell them like, "Listen, this is my woman. They act crazy. It's okay. I still love them. This is our business, not yours. No, you in America, bro. You in
Mhm.
America."
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
They asked him about Malia, child, and he said, "Oh, you talking about Malia? Oh yeah, that she just like that." Like, what? She broke my property? Like, bro, what? She likes that. She, she'll fight, argue, come back.
Mm-hmm. That last video you sent was put on private.
Oh, I'm sure.
For what reason? I don't know. Maybe she missed a part in editing or something.
Mm.
Y'all, I don't even know. I really don't.
Yeah.
Between him doing that live stream today, I don't what a shit show. It's an absolute shit show. And I am ready for the defense to call their witnesses and let's get this party cracking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm ready for the real shit show to start. Because they gonna be up there performing for they Baba G. He said, when I was Nature Boy, no one paid me any attention. You a lie?
You a motherfucking lie.
Maybe you could have said when I was Tahuti, no one paid me any attention. You could have said that.
Mm-hmm.
But son, absolutely not. And I know in the chat they were talking about, will the jury see this enough to give him life or just enough time to make him a senior citizen? And it made me think of York, and they weren't even, they hit him consecutively, but they didn't offer life for him. And
Mm-hmm.
he had way more influence and power than little old Eligio. Way more influence and power. His influence and power still exists to this day, baby. And he been locked up for a minute.
Right.
So I'm curious. Because even though they can't research his specific cult, I'm sure they've probably researched cults to try and get a better understanding, unless that is something they were told specifically not to do. But I know she tells them not anything on this specific case.
Right.
So we'll see who's been doing their research and who hasn't. I really think the jury's going to be hung.
Possibility.
I really do.
That is a possibility. Oh, I just like I said it 100 times, I would not expect it to be any other way. This is a shit show. Like I said, from outside the courthouse to inside the courthouse to the whole prosecution and defense, it's just a mess. Okay. Got the judge up there irritated. But okay.
Yeah, the judge she's ready for it to be completely over. Um, I'm sure she's getting wind of all the side quests that are happening as well. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm sure that's kind of irritating. And while we're on side quests, just what is irritating to me with all of these interviews, and it's not to the person who is doing the interview, um, but the participants of the interview really annoy it. It's really starting to get annoying almost. Because you should have had your ass up on that stand. You should have had your ass at least in the courtroom. To or be there the first day to say, "Hey, can I be a character witness?" But you would rather sit in the comfort of your home and do your little 1-2s to get some cash apps. No, thank you. Do your little 1-2s to get some traffic to your channel. No, thank you. Now everybody wants to say something. No, thank you. And I said this way before the trial even started. If you don't have your ass at that courtroom on that stand outside in the audience, I ain't got no smoke. I ain't got nothing for you. Not a click of you or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all irrelevant at this point to me.
Right.
Because the people who are speaking out, a lot of those people themselves have cases of abuse. So what are we doing here? If we're really going to drive this home, we really want this man shut down, whatever you want to call it, then why are we not putting our statements on record?
Okay.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
Well, we'll see.
We seeing exactly what it is. People just, they were saying in the chat earlier just about the sector in general. And I slightly agree that the sector didn't want Nature Boy to go to jail because they would lose out on the content. But I would further on to say that the people who really went dormant or laid low or just talked about it here and there were the people who were actually doing this not I won't even say that. Who are doing this for this specific reason, why we are here today, why we have been here for the past 3, 4, 5 days. Um, this is why the ones who were quiet were here because we knew that there was really nothing that could be done until a victim came forward. Everybody had did for years strong, did their one twos of trying to report, uh, send evidence in, do this, do that, but he kept getting let off the hook. He kept, people kept leaving, they kept coming back, but they weren't leaving and making police reports. They were just leaving, doing tours, and then coming back. So a lot of the people who were genuinely just wanting to see him dismantled the laid low until something like this popped off. Now there was a lot of on my behalf, just keeping an eye, keeping a tab. Um, but I'm interested to see where this sector is going to go as a whole once this is case closed. But there may be a twist of events because we know how Love and Flip Flops likes to create spinoffs. Okay.
Right. And that's exactly what they're out there doing.
Amen. Okay. And they gonna take
Tracy, I don't know. I didn't listen to that either. I don't think she's going to be testifying. I don't think she'd be doing an interview all like that if she was going to testify.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, she never said. I've never heard her say anything about why she wouldn't testify or isn't or any of that.
Uh, I agree, lady. Still.
Definitely. And they trying to become content. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He better. I'm saying.
I think they're. I really hope that they do not get brought to the stand. But if they do, it is what it is. Because they will. I don't know. For some reason, it seems like the prosecution's taking it a little easy. Well, I mean, maybe because it's their witnesses, but the defense has taken it a little easy. I think he was pretty hardcore, but like you said earlier, Godmama, he could have really discredited Velvet as a dang witness by talking about the things she was included in. I feel like he really missed an opportunity there, which gratefully so. We're grateful for
Right.
that, right? We're not
Right.
cheering on, we hope Bishop gets off. Absolutely not. But again, just from a unbiased perspective.
And Mr. Booker, you missed a lot of good opportunities because you should have asked her to explain why now all of a sudden are these individuals getting married. Because there was a reason. Eligio didn't just wake up and say, oh, everybody's getting married today. No, there were a series of events that led up to everyone having to get married. And it was because he was getting a lot of heat and he was wanting to make sure that wives couldn't testify against their husbands. And that was when Velvet came back and she was pushing the issue and pushing that everyone have their own separate husband and wife. Now, Mr. Booker could have used that to manipulate the words and making it seem like Velvet was the one in control, not Eligio. But he dropped the ball with that. He dropped the ball because a lot of people still believe that Velvet was a co-conspirator in a lot of the things that went on in her duration at Carbonation. But on the stand, she testifies that specifically after July 4th, she starts planning her escape. So she has to kind of go with the flow. So that would lead me to believe that, she possibly just went with the flow a lot of the times. And we were just thinking, we're thinking she's a co-conspirator. She's in on this, but really she's just trying to play the long game and the safe game. I can't, I don't know. I'm not Velvet's mind. Um, but Mr. Booker could have really did his client some service, but he didn't. And that's in the prosecution's favor um, as far as the witness goes and her credibility. And again, like I said at the beginning, I think that is why Eligio lost his complete shit. Because Velvet got up there and painted this picture that she that she had nothing to do with anything that was going on, that it was all him and whoop-de-whoop, which it probably was. It probably more than likely was. But he was upset. He said that his lawyer was trying to make him get COVID and die. Like, bro, it's not COVID. It's not that serious anymore. People's immune systems have already built up. Hello, you're Eligio Bishop. You're supposed to know this. But I thought
Exactly.
disease was of the mind. Hello. So which one is it, sir? Does the lady have COVID or is she just sick in the head? Which one?
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some, I hear you, ladies, don't. And there were some things I felt like, who was in the chat? Was it Mean Mug? Somebody was in the chat earlier saying she's talking on the stand like she's just doing a regular live. And not, she used to give some energy on those live streams. And Nature Boy's the devil, and he's da 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 da. Like, I wanted her to bring some of that energy, but like you said, maybe she had watched some court TV and polished it up a little bit. Um, she didn't spill any tears like some of the other witnesses or victims did. Hmm.
Which was interesting, right? That she didn't cry, not during. I don't know.
She left though. I mean, she's had 2 other kids. She's kind of, we've seen her bawling and crying all
Moved
on her
past.
live streams and stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of burnt out from her testimony. Like I said, I've heard it 700 times. So,
Right, right. She didn't. She did good on the stand, but she withheld a lot of things. I think for her own.
mhm.
for her
Mhm.
own safety as well. And baby, when Velvet yelled at that at Mr. Booker and she said, "I'm in danger right now." I said, "I know
Mhm.
that's right, Velvet. I
Mhm.
know. That's right."
Yeah, not everyone cries, Lady Still, but we've seen her cry on many occasions. It'd
Mhm.
be different if we've never seen her cry. But I mean, heck, I've got a few right here on this channel in the archives of her sitting outside a brick wall, tearing up, crying,
And
telling us
they
what a
kept
demon he
going.
was. She had her little faux hawk going and right, lip
Mhm.
gloss was popping, tears were flowing. Let me stop.
But I think the confusion of the timeline and all of that song and dance, I think that if I was a juror listening to that song and dance, um, and then hearing the domestic abuse um, advocate or expert testify, it would solidify in my brain like, "Oh, yeah, she was abused," because every time Mr. Booker honed in on a timeline, she was like, "It's all a blur."
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
and there were some things I think Mr. Booker should have just left alone.
Mhm,
And that
yeah, I think he
and
was too consumed in time you're right, in timestamps instead of just incidents, but he was
Mhm.
trying to he's gonna do that, so I guess whenever other witnesses come back and say, "Do you remember that day she said she was in a park?
Right.
Was it July 4th?" You know, or something like that, I think that's why, but yeah, it was very time consuming and unnecessary while he's flipping through 7,000 pages. Y'all, he was flipping through all those pages because that was all of Bishop's notes. Y'all know Bishop probably gave him 900 pages to go through. Okay. Y'all talking about he didn't do his homework. How can you when Bishop's your dang client?
Right.
Between Bishop calling every day, between the girls, the wives calling every day, between new jail stuff going on, him catching new charges, like I'm sure Booker is just
Exhausted. He sounded, today when we listened to him cross Velvet, he sounded exhausted. He sounded
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, okay." That's because I think at one point she said something and he was like, "Okay, whatever." And he just kept moving, like he was over it. He didn't wanna be there, or maybe that's just his persona towards her, to try to get her riled up and off balance. I don't know, because he had a
Mm.
different tactic with her than with everybody else.
Well, also because I think because she was also chiefess, so I think he knew
Mm.
that she could incriminate whether she incriminated herself or not. I think that's one thing that could be said. She probably could incriminate him more than the other witnesses could.
Mhm.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But Joe, you made me spit my water out earlier just a second ago. He said eyes were cocked. I'm not fixing to play with you.
David in the chat cutting up, honey, cutting up.
You saying Booker sounded overwhelmed? They both did. Booker and Bishop. Bishop sounded overwhelmed when the interrogation was going on, and they were like, "Look, we already got a warrant to seize your phone. We just trying to get in." Uh,
Right.
Bishop was like, well, I don't want y'all to start planting anything. Like, Negro, stop. You're the last person we're gonna plant some bullshit evidence on.
Said,
Especially
"Are
with
you
all the stuff
serious?"
you've uploaded of yourself. We don't need to plant anything.
Honey, the way he was describing to them what they were going to see in the phone had me over here just
I got a picture of it.
crying.
I got a picture of the stuff she posted. Yeah, yeah.
He said, "You're gonna
Mm.
at first you're gonna be like, oh, 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 this is so nice and sweet,' and then you're gonna be like, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, like, what? What is he doing? What is
Mm.
he doing?"
I really hope we get this same luxury for True Freeman's trial. I really
Oh,
do.
yeah,
I
yeah.
really hope we get the same luxury because boy, if this ain't a key, talking about
It's
action outside the courthouse. Let me stop. Oh goodness. Mhm.
Oh, he was in poor thing. He said, "Well, I guess I'll just go to prison, and I'll just be the spiritual guru in prison." Like, yeah, that's what it's looking like, Eligio. That's what it's looking like, brother.
Mm,
So hopefully, we will be get some more court footage dropped by tomorrow, and we'll come back with that.
Mhm.
Um, we've seen some things kind of get thrown around, but then they kind of they got taken back, took back, whatever we want to call it. So we'll just wait around to see what's going on with that. But they will not technically be in court until tomorrow. And that's when the defense will start with their hoorah. Their hoorah.
We got action.
Oh, we
Can we
got
watch
action.
it real quick before it goes away again?
Yes, we got action, y'all. Let's get comfy. Hold on.
Y'all, they brought the initial witness back up. Let's not say her name. Let me
And
see.
remember when we were listening to that one where and the prosecutor were going back and forth, and it was about the police officer's testimony, and he was like, "Well, she never said this," and he was like, "Well," he said, "Well, can I recall?"
Mhm.
And I was wondering if that was ever going to happen, and it did. Hallelujah. We got
Mhm.
action. Shout
We
out to
got
Nick at Night.
action. Shout out to Nick at Night. Let's see what she talking about.
The show is gonna go on. So he conceded to what the judge was saying, and he decided to keep his attorney and continue on. Now, in a separate video, I showed the whole back and forth between him and the judge and him trying to fire his attorney and all of those things. You can catch that on another video. Now, this video, I'm going to focus on their case in chief for the defense. Now, after the whole fiasco of him trying to fire his attorney, the show had to go on, and they had to get to calling witnesses. They called the victim of this case as their first witness, and they wanted to go over some of her inconsistent statements. Now, while he was basically questioning the witness and going, and I want to
And the defense case into you.
continuing on with coverage with me.
I have previously
You're
testified in this
welcome.
case, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm recalling you as a witness in the defense case into you. And I wanted to go back and review some of the statements that you made to law enforcement.
Okay.
Now, the very first time after March 24th, 2022, that you reported the revenge, did you go down and do a warrant application at the DeKalb County Magistrate Court?
Yeah, I went to the police department and I stayed in front of them, and I did a police report with a cop.
Okay, all right, so you didn't go to magistrate court, you went and spoke to to Officer Hugh?
Yes.
Okay, and so you told him that revenge had been posted online?
Yes.
And you made a report with him?
Yes.
Okay, and that was on March the 30th of 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, at that time, you didn't say anything about a sexual assault or anything about rape, that's correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And your interview or your meeting with that officer was a recorded meeting, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and that was within 5 days of the time that you had left the house, correct?
More or less, actually more, I
Okay.
believe, yes.
So March 25th is when you left the house, the morning of March 25th?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, all right. Now, while I'm on that, you had text messages that were in your phone that were sent from your phone to Kelly Johnson, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and were the messages provided to law enforcement from you? Did they get it from your phone?
I believe I asked Kelly for the screenshots, and I believe I sent them to someone. I'm not sure who.
Okay.
I believe I sent them to someone. I can't remember. I apologize.
Okay, all right. So after you were questioned and reported to the officer on March the 30th, After that, the next time that you made a statement about this case was an interview that you did online with a YouTuber called the T, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall your interview with the T?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Were you truthful in your interview with the T?
I would say I was truthful to my best abilities. I just came from out the cult, so I still had an influence on me. Yes.
All right. Okay. So when you were interviewed by the T, do you recall discussing with the T why you had left Carbon Nation?
I don't recall what I said, but I do know why I left.
Okay. All right. If I asked you, read you a statement that you made from your interview with the T, would you tell me if you disagree or agree with that statement?
Yes, to my best abilities.
Okay. In your interview with the T, do you remember what date you did that interview?
No.
Okay. Now, are you aware that the T is the same group of people that sent those text messages to the detective in this case?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Did you provide the text messages to the T?
Did I, excuse me?
Did you provide text messages to the T?
Me and her text all the time, yes.
Okay, but did you provide the text messages with you and Kelly Johnson to the T?
I may have.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to read you, this is a transcript of your statements from YouTube. I left Carbonation because basically he didn't hit me, but I was hit by Zoku, Eferu, and Shiva did push me and nudge me and was getting up in my face, as well as the reason why this happened is because they feel as if I was being disrespectful to him by giving him a face. Does that sound like something that you said?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Now, in your interview, further, you talk more about, what you said it happens. And did you call Mr. Bishop something along the lines of Babaji? I'm not exactly sure how to spell that, but do you know how to spell that? How do you spell that?
B-A-B-A-J-I.
B-A-B-A-J-I. Okay. And so was there a girl in the group named Malia?
Yes.
Was Malia considered to be the queen?
Yes.
Were you frustrated by Malia being the queen?
No.
Okay. I'm going to read you, again, you tell me if you disagree with this taken from your interview.
Can I explain my answer?
Yeah, if I can read it first and you tell me.
Yeah, let him read the question, then you answer the question, and then you can explain your answer.
Okay.
All right.
And we're back with March Sadness, and the team is looking down the barrel of a
Your peace reflection. Welcome back.
Using as a servant and come tomorrow, she's gonna be the servant and this and that. And I'm just like, wow, like really. And one of the reasons why I left is because y'all don't know when he was trying to do the queen thing, there wasn't gonna be a new queen. It was all an act. At first, it wasn't, I'm thinking that I'm actually have a chance to like prove that, okay, well, I can definitely, take the queen to the queen thing and really do something positive with the cup. But nah, he was like, it was never going to be that way. He said that it's going to be primarily a queen. She's going to remain the queen. And so and I'm going to skip forward. I'm going to be her servant. I'm going to kiss her feet in front of the whole world. Did you have an issue with her being the queen and you not being the queen?
I had an issue with the dynamic in the triangulation. Excuse me if I'm not saying that right, the triangulation that Eligio Bishop was doing with the women in the cult. Okay. I decided that after he himself, Eligio Bishop, was telling me behind closed doors that I might be the queen. Are you really the queen of Carbonation and Terry? Can you do this job? Are you meant for this job? And he's had countless encounters in front of everyone saying that
I was qualified and I was more of a goddess than the other women. I thought I could take the queen role and do something positive with our culture that we was creating in the group. I didn't like how he put the women against each other and made them jealous of me because he would always tell the women that he liked to be better than the other ones. I thought I could change the dynamic of the queen because he, like I said, he never hit me. But I thought I could change it. It was a lot of abuse, yes, mental and, emotional abuse.
But he never hit you though.
No, and I thought that I could change that dynamic. So I wanted to become the queen so I can make a change like I was naturally doing in the cult.
Okay. So being that he never hit you, how long were you in the group?
I was on and off in the group for 3 years.
Okay.
And when it came down to Eligio Bishop, though he's never hit me physically, the mental and emotional abuse and the spiritual abuse was always present.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna skip through this section, but essentially you talk about the girls and you are having a dispute. So do you agree that night that the girls and you, the girls were basically being physical with you?
Yes, they were physical on Eligio Bishop's orders.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get to that, but go ahead, you finish your answer.
Yes, also I wanted to tell you before when you said, I'm going to kiss her feet, he told the world that, or he told the cult that I was going to kiss her feet. I never said to my mouth that I wanted to kiss her feet. He was ordering me to kiss her feet the next day. He said that I was gonna kiss her feet in front of the whole world and become slave to carbonation.
Okay, and you wanted to be the queen, you didn't want to be in that position.
She didn't want to be no slave.
I necessarily was just trying to take the role so I can become something positive in the group. The queen position was something used for power and control when it comes down to the women and to make them jealous of each other and compete against one another. I just wanted to take the role because I wanted to make a change within my culture.
Okay, all right. Do you disagree with the following statement you made? Baba G, that's Eligio, comes in and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I told him no. And he was like, "You know what? You can just go pack your stuff because you can just make it clean and simple. Make it just make it, basically he's saying that don't make a fuss about it, just pack it and just get out." And so you at that point when you got your suitcases and you were about to leave, right?
No, I didn't go get my suitcases. One of the men fetched my suitcases.
Okay, and then the next statement you said,
I would have to object at this point. These are not statements, they're prior statements, and they are not statements in contradiction to what she testified to the first time. If they were, then it would be proper under Rule 413, but instead, we're just rehashing an out-of-court statement. Hearsay.
In terms of agreement, Mr. Booker.
Okay.
All right, sustain the objection, let's move on.
Okay. Do you recall that during the interview that you indicated that you went upstairs and that you were just crying in his arms?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, same objection. That was testified to on direct.
I can just play the interview into the record then, Judge. I mean, that's what the state wants.
The interview is not admissible.
No, you can't. I sustain the objection, move forward.
Well, she hasn't been asked the question. This is not questions that she's been asked before. So it wouldn't be something that would be a prior consistent or inconsistent statement. She's not been asked these particular questions before regarding the specifics of what happened when she was there.
Response?
Unfortunately, I think this is another matter we have to take up outside of the.
All right. Sorry, guys. Been back.
Us is so in the prior interview.
I guess it's all about.
It's I think it's okay. Right.
The state's position is that unless it is so in the prior interview, if she said something that was contradicted in court, then it is a prior statement that could come in under 413 as a prior inconsistent statement. the subsection that deals with prior consistent statements would not apply to any of this because Mr. Booker is not attempting to restore the witness's credibility. So prior consistent statements are inapplicable. Prior inconsistent statements are only applicable in as much as they are actually inconsistent with what the witness has testified to, in which case the statement is not, the question is not, do you agree with this statement that you made? It's, do you remember making the statement? And at that point, she can either say yes, no, or explain the statement.
Here's the
Yeah, I'll rephrase it based on that.
Okay, I mean, the rule is, an out-of-court statement shall not be hearsay if the declarant testifies at the trial or hearing, is subject to cross concerning the statement, and the statement is admissible as a prior inconsistent statement or a prior consistent statement. It has to be one or the other. Do you agree with that?
Yes, and then prior inconsistent statement and prior consistent statement are defined further
Correct.
in Rule 413.
Correct.
Because not every statement that is consistent with a witness's testimony is admissible. It's only admissible under certain circumstances.
So I'll ask her if she recalls.
Use your mic for me.
I'm sorry. I'll ask her if she recalls making the statement, and then we can give her an opportunity to. The questions that I'm asking her were not questions. I never asked her about the TV. It was not anything that was asked on during her examination. So this is all brand new questions.
So what are you trying to get at?
I'm getting that she did a interview that was different than the statement that she made before it would be an inconsistent statement.
I would just ask that we address these specific questions based on how this has gone previously, where we have not been on the same page at all about what constitutes a prior inconsistent statement.
All right, let's go ahead and ask the questions now, Mr. Booker, and get the witnesses to answer and any objection, so we don't have to keep sending the jurors in.
It would be my preference, Judge, if we don't, could we do without asking, without the jury being present? Because I mean, what's the point of asking?
Well, then you can ask it again when the jury comes in if it's not objectionable. But the problem is, there's an objection.
The witness. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You want to, okay.
So I can proffer the questions that I would intend to answer the court. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Recordings just got better.
Mr. Booker fighting hard, y'all. He fighting hard for that shit.
All right.
Go ahead.
She states in the interview, Judge, that she doesn't know what happened in that moment. She was really vulnerable. That we did make love in that moment. I didn't want to resist him. I didn't want to, because any of that, because it was just like, I was going to resist him. The Uber's already left, but I just felt stupid and I decided to make love to him. And that wasn't what she ultimately said, Judge. I think that's a very big point in this case, is whether or not she decided to make love to him or not.
Wouldn't that be a prior inconsistent statement, Mr. Covey?
Most of that, yes. But that was not what we were dancing all around that. And
Okay.
yes, that specific.
So I will jump right to the point instead of going.
Cameraman, you got one job.
Are there any others, or is that essentially what you're trying to do?
Judge, there is a bit more to it. Additionally, she indicates in the interview that she felt stupid afterwards, that she had given in, that I'm going to use a word that would be offensive to most people, but I want to say it, that she was about having dick rather than love. I think that that's a valid question that the jury gets to determine. She doesn't mention anything about being forced. So instead of me going through reading the transcript verbatim, piece by piece, what I can do is just question her out of it and ask if she recalls making that statement or not. And if she disagrees, then I will read it into the record.
And if she agrees, you
if
move
she
on.
agrees, I'll move on.
With those
With
two
those
questions.
I do believe those constitute prior inconsistent statements, so I think those are fine. Your client is trying to get your attention, Mr. Booker. Hold on, Mr. Bishop.
additionally, Judge, she indicated that she felt the lovemaking was fake, and it made her feel sad as a result of that. I think that would be a question that I can be able to answer as well, because again, she addresses lovemaking.
The fact that she had.
The camera need to
The
be
fact
on
that she
him at
didn't
all
address actually
times.
on direct of her first testimony, the fact that she has used the phrase lovemaking, that was addressed already.
Put it back on
This
Nature
would not
Boy.
be an inconsistent statement with her trial testimony. In fact, it would be consistent.
Yeah, but the fact that she felt he was faking it during the lovemaking, she never mentioned that.
I don't recall that being asked by counsel on cross the first time.
It wasn't.
Okay.
I mean, all right, if you want to ask those three questions,
Yes,
that's
sir.
fine, I think that's fine.
Okay.
And then can we move on from there? Or are there more?
There's an additional question I raised.
All right, let's
That's not from the T interview.
Okay.
Does it address a prior statement made by the witness?
No, it was a subsequent statement she made that the DA's office interviewed her, and she indicated that they could have sex just one last time, and she said okay to that.
That's exactly what she testified to on direct.
Well, I think we disagree. That's your opinion of what she testified to on the record. I think I have an opportunity, because I have a legal obligation to represent this defendant, to ask her to be clear in front of the jury. That's their opinion. That's exactly what she said on the record. I don't agree with that.
I remember her saying she was convinced, I think, to do it.
Well, I guess if the state wants to go that route, then maybe they should, in their closing argument, they should argue that she said it was okay to have sex together. That's the contention. I don't think that's what they're going to argue in closing arguments. If I'm going to be, I think I would be able to ask that question, Judge. They provided
She told the DA's office.
in an interview with them, prepare for trial.
I mean, look, it's no secret that she didn't report it right away, and she's given conflicting statements, right?
So,
Yes, sir.
if I may, just one thing. You talk about, in my opening statement, where I laid out what I expected the evidence to show, he asked one last time, and finally, after countless times of saying no, realized that she wasn't leaving that room unless she gave in, she said okay. So I've addressed it in opening. It's what she testified to. I'm not saying it's the most prejudicial thing in the world. I'm saying it's inadmissible because it's not inconsistent with what.
That's your opening statement. The jury doesn't get to consider your opening statement. You get to consider that testimony of this.
Correct. All right, so we have this statement to the DA's office, and those other three questions that you want to ask.
Yes, sir.
And that's it.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to define my question in advance now, so that way when I ask it. So number one, that she felt like she was vulnerable at that time, and so therefore they had sex and she didn't resist. Is that a fair question? Is the state okay with that?
And this is what she told T.
This is what she told us.
If it's, I think that's appropriate.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Additionally, that she felt that the defendant was faking it during the lovemaking, and she felt that he wasn't being genuine and true as a result.
As long as these are captured, do you recall making this statement? Not do you believe this statement, but it's different things.
All right. And then what she really needed at that time was dick, but what she really wanted was real true love.
I don't think that's been addressed one way or the other. So I would defer to the court.
Okay, I think it's been addressed, or you do not think it's been
It has
addressed?
not.
I don't remember her saying that.
Yeah.
No, we will remember her saying that.
I did not remember her, she did not say that, so, so I'm gonna say no to that question, because that's not a prior consistent statement.
It would be a prior inconsistent.
How is it inconsistent? What is it inconsistent with? The rape?
Yes, it's inconsistent with the rape, that she needed to have sex with him rather than not.
I think it's relevant.
Mr. Kennedy? What was your response to that?
I think he said he was okay with it, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't see how it can be inconsistent based on like the absence of testimony. I mean, it's not consistent or inconsistent. It's just not something that came up in her testimony.
But it's a statement
Okay,
that she
well, could
made.
she be asked if she recalls that statement? If she doesn't recall it, then we'll leave it.
Jorge has always put.
You know, I kind of agree with Mr. Bishop here because it's kind of relevant. I know we hate it, but baby, very much relevant.
Just defer to the court on that. I don't know.
Okay. All right, I'll allow it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds relevant.
All right, what else?
The Brady statement, Judge, which I think the state is agreeable to, and that would be the 4 questions I would have about that. So I wouldn't ask any more questions about that particular issue.
Brady statement is the one statement that we are objecting to because we believe that it has already been testified to, but I think the court already resolved that defense is fair.
That would be the 4 questions and last.
I'm sorry, the Brady statement.
The Brady statement, which the state provided, was that Mr. Bishop indicated to her just one last time, and his response was, okay. That is the linchpin of our entire case, is whether a rape happened or not. And that statement, the state says, well, I believe she did say that. My position is, I don't think she said it clearly. I think I have the right to question her on it. I won't ask her anything else beyond that.
All right, Mr. Pepper.
I get to cross on the entire event again, right?
Yep, you sure do. Okay. All right, let's bring the jurors in. Yeah, we need 10 minutes on them. Okay. Did that the trial needs to recess until Thursday morning because of the COVID positive, despite counsel and jurors, everybody be wanting to go forward. So I will respect the process, and we are going to, it is not a mistrial. We are going to recess until Thursday morning at 9 o'clock, which will be consistent with the CDC guidelines that are still in place regarding isolation. So that's where we are, and I'm gonna bring the jurors out and excuse them until Thursday.
Well, so I guess they never really went back and put the victim statement on the record in front of the jury. I guess that's what he's gonna open with.
I don't know.
Because I was a little confused at the end.
I couldn't tell you.
You know, because we went from, okay, let's bring the jury back in to, okay, we're recessing for COVID. So maybe there was a little sidebar we didn't get to be privy to, you know, where Eligio was, because he was pressing that issue, and child, he was sitting in that chair acting a fool. And I agree with Neek. The cameraman needs to keep him on camera the entire trial.
Yes. The
So what
entire
do you
trial.
think about what we got to hear on his recall? I think it's gonna get spicy, girl.
Booker, you better be doing your homework.
He had 2 days.
I just I don't know why the defense would bring people like tribe members onto the stand. I don't know. I would bring certain people back up. I don't know. I
Mhm.
don't know. This is interesting, to say
I
the
would like
least.
Yes, I would recall a lot of witnesses.
Mhm.
And maybe a conflicting expert of some sort.
Mhm. Mhm.
But all the circus clowns, are we serious here? And maybe this is Eligio's doing. Maybe it's him saying, "No, I want them to tell."
Mm. Mhm.
Who
Mm.
knows, girl? Who knows? But I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I am as well.
I am here
I
for it.
am as well. About juries, Nikki's asking you if you watched a video about juries.
Oh, no, I didn't. I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. Maybe I did, and I just don't remember. I don't know.
Mm. They might use our videos, y'all. Call us for what? We're viewers. I mean, trust me, there's a few people that would love to be on that stand testifying against Bishop.
Oh my god. Or even for Bishop. Okay, get
For
into it.
Bishop, I mean, people like Wavy P would love to be there. Uh,
Mm.
I'm sure there's a few people that would love to be on the stand.
Love it.
And my biggest testimony would just be how it was talking to the family and even having to hunt down their location
Mhm.
because the families had no clue where their kids were. They were
Yep.
just seeing on the news, "Oh, my child got deported. Haven't talked to them in 3 weeks, but I see them going live. They look thin. They have
Mhm.
me blocked." Yada yada yada. That would be my testimony is the family. Okay?
Yep. That's a mm, but they don't even know. Okay, when you said the family, I instantly remembered Musa's mom making that whole video for him to see
Mhm.
to quote unquote wake up. Um, mm, Musa, why ain't you at court right now, sir? I want to
Mm.
know.
Mhm.
Word on the curb is, though, you might be in court soon sitting on Eligio's side. I don't know. I don't know.
Who?
Musa, he might be sitting over there asking
No, he
Mr.
better
Booker
not take his he better not. He better
asking Mr.
not.
Booker if he can be his attorney, child, because they said they coming for him. Mhm. Said they coming for him on the same charge.
Oh, you meant like that. I thought you meant he was gonna show up to support Bishop. Oh, you mean he gonna be asking for no shackles too?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Looking a mess in court. A mess. I was proud,
Uh,
though. He had on a little tie and suit today or that day.
Listen, if they go to a mistrial or some hung jury or not guilty or be prepared. Not only will the prosecution be having, I mean, shit to deal with as far as backlash goes from the public.
Mm,
Yeah, just be prepared for anything and everything. Mm.
absolutely. Yep. Everything and anything.
Okay.
Well, today was fun, to get caught up on all the court shenanigans. That was fun. Hearing Eligio's, police interrogation, that was even more fun.
That was the highlight for me. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
The video, his phone call this rising, that was
Mm,
great. That was great.
mm, mm. Baby. Yeah, he gonna have to take the stand.
Definitely,
Mm, 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 mm.
definitely. He gonna have to do it. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to the replay gang.
Hit the like, leave a comment.
Let me Let us know. I think you're gonna take the stand. I really do. I know we asked yesterday, but I really do. I really, especially after today, I think that man gonna
Mhm.
get up there, baby, in his
Mhm.
best Sunday
Mhm.
attire. He gonna put on the Dr. Bishop role.
Mhm. Mhm. He might be the longest witness. That might be the longest testimony we get is from good old Dr. Bishop. Baba. Baba G.
He said, "And how do you spell Baba G?" I was like, "What?
Mm-mm.
Why are we concerned? Why? Why are we giving this man free promo? Please."
Mhm.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, too bad. Well, is there anything else before we dip up off here for the day, Godmama?
No, nothing that I can think of. Seems like things have kinda slowed down a little bit, so
Oh,
y'all
they
go get
picking.
caught up on them side quests that's been
Mhm.
going on, if that's your thing, and, we'll probably be back tomorrow.
Mhm. Yes, we will. So until then, y'all be easy. Peace.
Toodles.